A night in with MauLer and the drinker, getting trashed with the web screen dictors. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop up the cork, have a glass of wine, touch the old say, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, MauLer and the critical drinker.
Well, I do believe that's our cue, MauLer. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How's it going? It's good to be back again. Yeah, I feel like, once again, time is kind of working its mysterious magic on us, because last week on Open Bar, we had to go an hour early because I was traveling the next day. And this week, I think the Americans have now switched over to, like, summertime or whatever they call it. And so... once again, we're all a bit out of sync with each other, but I don't know. They'll probably get a notification that we're streaming now, so it's the best I can do. What do you reckon?
How long until we're switched as well? End of March, is it? Or?
We do it in like 2 weeks, I think.
Good lord!
Yeah,
why can't everyone do it at the same time at least?
I know it would have been easier that way. So apologies to the people in chat, or like. No, maybe we don't apologize. Maybe we're angry at you if you're American and you don't do things the correct British way. I don't know.
They broke off from us, okay?
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
We had a good thing going.
You had to blow it up. America with its pride and its ego.
I know. It had to be the big man. But yeah, I should probably also do a little bit of housekeeping and say that next week, I won't actually be here for Open Bar because I'll be in Florida for MegaCon. Like, oh shucks, what a terrible thing to have to do. But yeah, just so you guys know, so there won't be an Open Bar next week on Thursday because I'll be traveling.
Maybe I'll be streaming, and maybe it'll be a game that is particularly relevant. Who knows? Who could say?
Maybe. Yeah, it'll be a long bar, as you do on those days.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's been happening a lot recently, and it's totally not intentional. It's just like, yeah, we seem to have skipped quite a few open bars just because there's been loads of things happening on those
Just admit
Thursdays.
it. You hate hanging out with me.
Well, that's a given. I mean, I've told you that loads of times when I get a few drinks in me. Tell you what, then, why don't we do our pointless facts? Are you ready? Shall I hit you with them?
So.
All right, I think we're ready, and we can do this. All right, stuff that happened in this case, 1977. Jimmy Carter was inaugurated as the 39th U.S. president. I'm not sure whether to go yay or boo for that one. I think everyone seems to be pretty indifferent towards Jimmy Carter, ultimately.
99% of presidents, in retrospect, people go boo. It's like
probably, yeah.
Few that are like, oh, that was all right.
I don't get the impression he stirs strong emotions in anyone. You know, he's not like a Reagan or a Kennedy or anything. It's just like, yeah, Carter, I guess he existed.
Do you remember the Simpsons joke? Someone just referenced in chat where they mentioned his name and some guy in the crowd goes, he's history's greatest monster.
It's when they unveil a statue of him, and the tagline just says "Malaise forever."
History's greatest monster.
What else happened? Elvis Presley died at the age of 42. A great tragedy for the world. On a better note, though, the Apple II was released, which kind of revolutionized personal computing, and the Atari 2600 was released at the same year. So, damn, it was a good year for computing.
I suppose, ups and downs as they go.
NASA also launched the Voyager 1 and 2 probes, which, as of now, are still speeding their way through out of the solar system, and they're still functional, mostly. That's what happens when they're powered by a nuclear reactor. It's great. They just keep ticking forever. There was another thing that happened, though, in this year. This one made me laugh, actually. It was the 1977 New York City blackout, right? The entire city of New York was plunged into darkness for basically an entire day. It was caused by a series of lightning strikes that hit a power station in Winchester County, which triggered a cascading failure of the entire power grid for the city. Power was out for over 24 hours. It started at about 9:30 at night on July 13th, and it lasted well into the next evening. It came at a bad time because apparently this was the 70s. Obviously, New York was a crime-ridden shithole at that point. Nice to see things have stayed consistent. But yeah, it was already in a financial crisis. They had really high crime rates, and there was a serial killer on the loose called the Son of Sam, which I hadn't really heard of, or I hadn't remembered until I read this. But yeah, it caused widespread rioting and looting. So it resulted in over 1,600 stores that got destroyed or damaged, over 1,000 fires that got set, and almost 4,000 arrests. It was actually the largest mass arrest in American history. But there was a good side to it. This made me laugh. The blackout is widely credited with accelerating the growth of hip-hop as looters stole high-end DJ equipment, making it more accessible to the general public.
Yay!
We won't talk about the demographics of the people who help themselves to that equipment, okay? It's hip-hop. It's not specific to any
Son
group.
of Sam. Remind me of, I think there's a Netflix documentary for that whole situation. It's voiced by, or narrated rather, by Paul Giamatti, famous for his role in Starfleet Academy. Actually,
famous. Yeah, he's never that was the big break for Paul Giamatti. It was nice that
he's finally got his role. There we go.
As far as movies go, well, I think we know what the big winner of that year was. 1977. It was Smokey and the Bandit, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, this little movie called Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. It brought in 221 million domestically. Actually made 775 million globally. That's in 1977, so that's pretty big numbers. It did it all against a budget of $11 million.
It's okay.
Which is wild. I mean, I know, again, 11 million would be a lot more in today's money, but it's still not big bucks. So when you see what they accomplished with a bit of ingenuity and good old-fashioned filmmaking techniques,
elbow grease.
Yeah, and a can-do attitude.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a year that obviously that was the biggest movie of the year by far. But we also got Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a real classic actually from Spielberg. Saturday Night Fever, A Bridge Too Far, absolutely classic war movie. We got The Spy Who Loved Me, one of my personal favorite Bond movies of all time, and Annie Hall, another very famous movie. I keep wanting to say. It was Woody Allen, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I kept wanting to see Woody Harrelson. It's like, no, he's old, but he's not that old. Damn it.
Getting there.
Yeah. Anyway, that was our pointless facts of the year. Why don't we bring in our panel so we can talk about actual stuff that's happening in the here and now?
I'm going to say that was the pointless facts, and here are some pointless guests. I was going to don't do it.
They're never pointless, especially not these people. They are pointful, in fact.
These ones are the good ones. Yeah.
Yeah. All the other guests are rubbish, but these ones are good. So, welcome our pointy guests. Little Platoon, Random Film Talk, and Vex Electronica. It is great to have you guys on board, as always. Welcome back.
Hello.
Thank you for having me. I'd like to point out I am a pointless guest because I'm a woman, so that's a totally fair chat.
You're just here as a diversity hire, really.
There you go. Yeah,
we're trying to stave off the sexism allegations, so
right. Boost the BIPOC numbers as well, so it's all good.
No, it's great to have you back, and it's been a while actually. It's been a couple of months since we had you on, so good to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
And well, in the spirit of celebrating women, I suppose The Bride. That came out about a week ago. Didn't exactly set the world on fire with its opening weekend. In fact, when I'm looking at Box Office Mojo right now, it is currently sitting at a worldwide total of $14.5 million against a $90 million budget, with probably another, what would you say, 40, 50 million of marketing?
I read somewhere that it was closer to 65 million in marketing, which is bizarre because I haven't seen any marketing, but I did read that was the figure.
Dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking 150 million at least.
The idea that they have that conversation with her, they're like, Maggie, what happened? And she's like, they just hate women. I don't know.
Apparently,
it was a great movie.
I mean, they tried every trick in the book to get people to go see this one, and I think the main tack that they took was like, well, it's a female director, so you got to go support her. Like, Why?
She did an interview where she was talking. I wish I could remember the quote verbatim because it's really useful. The quote is something like, "But it's dangerous when women get lots of money
I
to
do
make their
have that.
movies." And it's like,
Just as
just going to
you,
cut the end bit off there, and it's going to be very useful.
yeah. As you
Listen,
mentioned
look-
that, I do have that video right here. I will play it in a moment, but I just wanted
Look
to
what happened when Cersei took control of King's Landing. Look what happened when Dany arrived with all of her riches and dragons. You know, it's a lesson there.
It just
Maggie's
ends in
right.
a massive bomb every time. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's it's really that the market defining the success of a product ultimately, and you can try and guilt trip people as much as you want into seeing your film or whatever, but ultimately you can't force them to, and it's going to have to stand on its own merits. And this is where people like this run into trouble. And it's a strange sort of approach that she's taken because, one, the film itself is like an anachronism of, it feels like it was made in 2017. Like Maggie Gyllenhaal was somehow frozen in carbonite back in 2017 and just kind of hasn't moved on from that. Because to quote, to reference the point that Platoon was making there, in that interview that we'll play in a sec, she does talk about like Trump and how that's what inspired her to become a director. And I just thought, wow, you really haven't moved on from 2016, 2017, have you? Because these are all talking points from like 10 years ago. And it's a strange approach to take to promoting your film now. And yeah, going back to the point I made before, just because a woman made it doesn't mean women are obliged to then go see it. Like if a man makes a film, I don't feel like I have to go support it. And I'm pretty sure that it works in reverse. Like it's... Vex, you can help me out on this one. Are women some kind of collective hive mind where they all have to support each other in everything they do? Or do they just choose movies based on what they're actually interested in?
Women aren't even supportive of each other in the first place. But this is going to be a hot take, but I was actually excited for this movie because I like Maggie Gyllenhaal. I know that's a hot take. But 25 minutes in, I was considering signing up for the maid program. I don't know what happened here.
I mean, yeah, the trailers look promising. Like they've made it look kind of interesting. I thought, okay, well, you've got a good cast there. Yeah, it looks kind of like fun, and it's a bit of an anarchic sort of a play on the original story. Maybe it could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you actually watch it, it's like, oh my god, it's like it's as subtle as a sledgehammer with its messaging. It's this crazy disjointed like amalgamation of a bunch of different genres and a bunch of different movie making styles, none of which work together and none of which seem to even stand on their own merits. And the end result is just this mess of a film that's like, it's got the budget of a big budget mainstream release, but it's got pretensions to be this like art house experimental flick at the same time. And none of it works. I mean, it didn't for me anyway. I don't know how you guys felt about it.
What I had described it as on BSUP on Monday, because we did discuss it there as well, is if you were ever curious what the mind of a woman is 3 days before her period, this would be the best example of such, because none of it makes sense. None of it is consistent. It all contradicts itself. There's no sense that you can make out of this at all. And I was kind of... I don't know if anyone else watched the 1985 Bride movie with Sting and Jennifer Beals.
I did not, unfortunately. No.
It's an okay movie, but it's got like a nice vibe to it. And one of the biggest issues I had with that is it felt like two movies put together, because the bride is reincarnated by Dr. Frankenstein and there's a plot there. And meanwhile, the monster goes off and he meets a traveling midget and they join the circus together. So it never really finds a good a blend together, but the romance was really missing, even though it was hinted there. So judging from the trailers for this, I was like, oh, maybe they'll finally get the romance element right. And the romance element is like, oh, let me give you a blowjob in an empty pool because I'm trying to be nice to you.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, because like going back to the book, because obviously in this movie, they're very fond of the literary references because they have the ghost of Mary Shelley like narrating this one, like directly interfering with it. The thing is, in the original novel, the bride is never even reanimated. She's never even created. She's
Right.
theoretically discussed. Like, the monster wants Frankenstein to create a bride for him, but he never actually does it. He never goes through with it, and then that
There is a
causes
version where he basically like has the body ready to go and then destroys it, and then that's sort of the turning point. But it might not, because there's differences between there's the 1818 version and there's the 1831 version of the book, and I can't remember which one. I think it might be the 31 version is the sort of the sanitized version of that. But then that was one of the approaches they could take, and I spoke about this on Monday as well. Is that it begins by saying in the Ghost of Mary Shelley, this is the story I couldn't tell. And I say, well, you did die of a brain tumor, so I suppose that would explain the way the rest of this movie is about to go. But there could have been something fairly interesting that you do there, because there were these two versions of the book in the first place, and the 1818 is bolder, more revolutionary in its sentiment. It's way more daring, way more subversive. And then the 1831 version is the one that most people have read, and that was tamed down quite significantly to make it slightly more palatable to a general audience. So what you could have taken from that is, okay, what we're going to do is have her finally reveal the story that societal expectations never allowed her to tell. One where the bride is allowed to remain alive. And you could begin with that as your premise. You could do something genuinely bold and daring with that, and I would have been kind of up for seeing what they could have done. So to a degree, the Del Toro Frankenstein movie does something a bit more like that. Because it does lean slightly more toward the 1818 than the later version. But this movie it begins by doing this thing, and it's like, yeah, this is the story Mary Shelley was never allowed to tell. And then it comes out and it's like, it's just the worst versions of stories that have been told a billion times just across the last 5 years. Any movie with supposedly feminist messaging has done a version of this story. There's nothing bold or daring about it. It's just, and then there are so many conflicting like bits and pieces of ideas that go into it and never really lead anywhere. You get the vague sense that the main character is Ida, right? So Ida is this woman, and she is kind of like, she's on the arm of rich American business people. Then she sort of gets part possessed by the ghost of Mary Shelley and starts being a radical. Then she gets killed, but then she's reanimated to be the bride of Frankenstein, but is also like partially inhabited by Mary Shelley. And this is supposed to be sort of her, I suppose, being freed of the social conventions and being liberated to be herself, and inspiring random women in the street to start saying, yeah, feminism. But like,
brain attack is what
brain
they say.
attack. Yeah. And it's like, I don't really even know what the point they were trying to make was. It can't just be as simple as liberation is good, because that's not saying anything, but that does seem to be the extent of the messaging they went for.
I honestly think that's as far as they went in terms of their thinking, because every aspect of the movie's story is geared towards female empowerment. You've got the bride, obviously, is the most obvious example, but then you've got like the female detective, or she's not even a detective, actually. She's just an assistant to the detective, but you discover that she's the one who's doing the actual investigative work. She's the actual intelligent one, the brains behind the operation. And probably the 2/3 mark of the story, he just straight up quits and he goes, you know what? I can't do this anymore. You're the one who has to carry this on, and you can have my detective badge and just somehow become a detective, because that's how that works. I guess it's like knights from Game of Thrones or whatever. You just knight someone and they become the next detective. And then so she then carries on the mantle of like chasing down the monster and the bride. And so you've got that. And as Platoon was saying, you've then got these other women throughout Chicago who were inspired by a speech that the bride gave at like a big standoff with the police, and now start painting their faces the way hers is. They start like causing trouble and rioting and stuff. And that's the only message the film has. It's just like any kind of rebellion, any kind of emancipation is fine. Doesn't matter whether it causes damage to society or even gets people killed or hurt. As long as it's women doing it, it's okay, I guess. That seems to be as far as the movie goes in terms of its political thinking. And it's just so disappointing, man, that like they invested $90 million in this.
Netflix was originally supposed to produce and distribute this, and they saw the budget and they're like, no. And that's when WB picked it up, funnily enough.
America's dumbest studio.
I can't even like imagine how on earth this movie cost $90 million, because you watch it like really the only place I can think that the budget may have gone is that it's not set in the modern day. So I guess all the backgrounds you've got to account for that.
There is some pretty like extensive VFX work, I think, to create 1930s Chicago. So I can sort of understand. I can understand, and plus, like, it's a big cast. You know, you've got, Christian Bale, Jesse Buckley, Annette Bening, Peter
Sarsgaard in there.
Peter Sarsgaard, yeah, like, and Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, he probably did that as a favor, to be fair. But
Penelope Cruz as well.
Penelope Cruz, yeah. So they're not. It's a pretty extensive cast, and they probably cost a lot of money. And it's such a shame to see such a collection of talent squandered on something so shit.
Well, I mean, with the premise of this movie, they never should have been even a hint of accepting that kind of budget. It'd be like, you'll never make it back. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously a fucking 0.1% chance that it blows up, but like, why would you take that much of an insane risk? Talk about, like, they make all the wrong risks in Hollywood these days, but it's part of like an ongoing theory that budgets have continued to balloon as tracking across time, but they've just started lying about anything that goes above 200 million. But everything else, all like mid-budget films, are still exploding because of they don't need to lie about those ones yet because they haven't gone as far. But
in this case, we know where some of the extra money went, because one of the reasons Netflix gave for pulling out is that they didn't want to film was it in New York where a lot of this was actually filmed, and it was significantly more expensive, and they said, can you please film this somewhere else, anywhere else, basically somewhere cheaper, and Maggie Gyllenhaal said no. And so Netflix said, well, we're not doing it. And then along comes Warner, is like, money, we have all of that, so take it.
A studio that's like already 60 billion in debt, but
I do wonder how that
could
possibly come to be.
Honestly, like, the movie largely reminded me of. I don't know who the target audience could possibly have been, because it really was mostly reminiscent of Joker. I haven't seen the second Joker, but maybe it's more reminiscent of the second. And then it had like a little bit of Natural Born Killers thrown in.
Yeah, Bonnie and Clyde as well.
It's Bonnie and Clyde. Yeah, that's what they were going for, I think.
Or for occasionally, when they tried to do plot, that's what they were going for. And then for the remaining like 2/3 of the movie, it's just sort of vague vibes. And then they also, because it was originally supposed to come out, I think, in around October last year, and obviously it's a Frankenstein movie, it's sort of horror inspired. You'd think around Halloween is the sensible, probably the risk-averse time to put a movie like this out. And they said, oh no, we don't want it to come out in Halloween because it's too close to the Del Toro Frankenstein movie. You're making a movie called The Bride, in parenthesis, of Frankenstein. Why would you not? It's like, it's a ready-made Barbenheimer situation. You've got a Frankenstein movie that everyone's going to be watching. Then you can release The Bride alongside it. But they thought, no, too much of a risk. So we'll release a horror movie in March and just call it The Bride. Never mentioned of Frankenstein, even though Frankenstein's the only vaguely recognizable bit about it. And apparently they thought they'd make money off of this. It's insane decision making from top to bottom.
They came out in different media as well, because like the Del Toro one was mostly on streaming. I think it got a very limited cinematic release, so they wouldn't necessarily have been competing against each other either. So it's even more reason to have released it in October. I mean, it would have been up against Shelby Oaks, so that's a worry.
I mean, that's a tricky one though, because that did blow the box office away.
But like, this movie coming out so close to the Del Toro Frankenstein honestly just makes this movie seem even worse than it already is, and it makes the Del Toro movie seem even better, because I mean, I don't know about you guys, that was probably my film of the year last year. I thought it was
a really good movie. Yeah.
It
was a very faithful adaptation for the most part of the source material, done with a real bit of visual flair and like a director who understands what he's doing with this. Versus, and it is wild to compare them, versus Maggie Gyllenhaal's version, which is this schizophrenic, borderline experimental piece of feminist nonsense that like ultimately is just very loud, very obnoxious, very like sexually like overblown to the point of absurdity, and ultimately accomplishes absolutely nothing and has nothing even remotely intelligent to say. There's funny because there's actually like there's behind the scenes moments of like Christian Bale and the rest of the cast just standing around in a circle and screaming. And I just thought that's the perfect parable for what this movie is, because I think it was trying to capture like, what is it they keep calling it, like female rage? I don't know what
that Midsummer shit. That clip everyone always shares where all the girls are screaming and crying.
Yeah. Well,
from Midsummer.
Yeah. Have you guys seen that there's other footage of like there's like these retreats where like angry feminists go out to the woods and they just scream at the top of their lungs until they blow out their vocal cords because they're just so angry at the world. I think that's what this movie was trying to capture, because Jessie Buckley does spend a lot of time screaming in it, and so does Christian Bale. Actually, there was people in chat saying that they were disappointed with him, and I picked up on this as well. Bale's a good actor when he's properly utilized, but holy fuck, you would never know it from this film.
This is his worst performance. Yeah.
So over the top. He spends so much of his time just yelling about how awesome she is and how he's loving what they're doing, and he's just high on life, and it's garbage. Like, it's like he was given no idea of what he's supposed to be doing, so he just said, fuck it, I'm just going to dial it up to 11 and go for it.
And just like you've got Christian Bale's performance, you've got the prosthetics, the way that the character is generally treated in the film, all of that is so inferior to the Del Toro version. It's not even close. And like part of this that I don't know if this just confused me or what, but in this movie, his name is Frank, which is short for Frankenstein, obviously.
Yeah.
Frankenstein is the name of the guy that made the Frankenstein monster, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
Did they just get that wrong, or is that not the case here? But then you've also got in continuity of this setting, Mary Shelley existed, but so did Frankenstein. So was she like a necromancer as opposed to an author? Or did she write about something that actually happened?
So I think the way to interpret this, and this is from the very loose understanding that the film gives you, but in the context of this film, Frankenstein existed and he was a real doctor who performed these experiments, presumably died, but his research was somehow preserved. And this Annette Bening's character is interested in his work. Mary Shelley exists outside of the narrative, but she jumps into this as like a narrator slash manipulator of the plot. And it's essentially then another story that she's created. It's the story she always wanted to tell. So she's a narrator, but also an active character in the story. It's fucking wild.
Like that one idea almost like breaks the concept of the movie, because I just don't know who thought it was a good idea to have Mary Shelley be a demon that possesses vulnerable women, turns them into feminists, and gets them killed, which is basically what happens right at the beginning.
You run into the same problem that we ran into with Wonder Woman 84, ironically enough, where it's like you've possessed a poor innocent person against their will, and you forced them to do a bunch of things that they wouldn't want to do. And in this case, literally got them killed and then reanimated as a walking corpse, and then still fucking take control of them at certain times. And then at the climax of the movie, somehow jump into the body of another person and take control of them in order to facilitate what you want to happen, which is reanimating both of them again, even though they've both been killed. So I don't even know how to describe it. The morality is
Mary Shelley. That's pretty much what it is.
It defies all the rules of storytelling. It defies all the rules of morality as well. And so I'm not really sure what you're meant to draw from this in terms of your moral messaging. Who cares? I guess as long as women get to vent their feminine rage, that's all that matters in this film. It seems to be.
It's the kind of insulting thing, because I think Maggie Gyllenhaal has basically said explicitly she has Mary Shelley's character say, like, the story I couldn't tell. And I think she's confirmed in interviews, she's like, she wanted to imagine the kind of story Mary Shelley would have been able to tell were it not for the societal conventions that oppressed her. Which is like, but I think you fundamentally misunderstand who she was. I don't think you've actually read the books she wrote or anything that she wrote, never mind just the works of fiction. She did that. That was what Frankenstein already was. It was already bold and daring and innovative, both versions, even the slight, because you have the 1818 one, which is very sort of, it's like the Byronic era, it's the Romantic period, it's very centered on individual choices, agency, the things people do, which to a degree they are dictated by the society in which they live. And she mounts several very potent, not always correct, but very powerful critiques of the society in which she lived. She wasn't constrained from doing that at the time. Then 1831 is like it tries to blend more of that Enlightenment rationalism and almost fatalism. Some of the like personal choices de-emphasized, and it's very much about how mechanistic determinism seems to predetermine certain choices. But again, still bold, revolutionary, because then you're sort of trying to counter the preconceived ideas of what morality even is. Very, very revolutionary stuff. There's a reason the book has resonated throughout history for such a very long time. She wasn't stopped from doing any of this. And now along comes Maggie Gyllenhaal saying, "Oh well, if she was free, she might have been able to write something brilliant like The Bride." Fuck off! What are you talking about?
I want to know what Mary Shelley thinks of this movie. So we'll go find her, dig her up.
Oh God, she'd be spinning in her grave so hard you could turn her into a dynamo and power the east coast of America. Like Jesus, it is depressing. I do have that Maggie Gyllenhaal interview here, actually, the one that Platoon referenced earlier, and it's fun actually for a little bit of how do you even describe it? Classic Hollywood delusion. Let's just see what she's got to say about this.
About this moment, because on the one hand, we've had all these interesting, films come out just this year. Chloe Zhao with Hamnet, Lynn Ramsey with Die My Love, Kristen Stewart with The Chronology of Water.
Everyone watched that classic, The Chronology of Water by Kristen Stewart. I hope you did.
No.
I'm sure it was definitely worth everyone's time.
But on the other hand, there's only 8% of films that were made by women.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a 7-year low.
Mm.
I mean, what do you think that says?
I'm thinking about whether to say this.
Say it.
I think that it's fine. Like when we make little movies, cute, or like go make your little movie. Starts to get dangerous when women have their hands on a lot of money.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm
dear.
sorry. I do have to stop it there for a moment.
It's pretty accurate.
Didn't that happen multiple times with Marvel? They just gave like hundreds of millions of dollars to women who had never directed movies before, and then they lost hundreds of millions of dollars.
They had directed movies, but generally like small indie movies. Like Chloe Zhao was a good example where she'd done like Nomadland, which was like a no budget Z-list picture, which was essentially just a woman driving around in her van and talking to people. It was a perfectly fine movie. It did well at the Oscars though, and so Chloe Zhao suddenly became like a perfect candidate for Marvel's diversity program, because it's like you've got an award-winning director. She did well at the Oscars and stuff. She's a woman and she's ethnically diverse. Perfect. Let's put her in charge of like a $250 million ensemble superhero movie and just expect her to pull something together. And the result was The Eternals, a complete disaster, because the director got lost in the product, because you can't go from a little low-budget indie flick to a massive action-heavy superhero movie and expect to be able to transition. That doesn't work like that. But they didn't care, because I think as Gary describes it, like this is a process of casting directors instead of hiring them. They just fill a role rather than actually like having any kind of artistic merit of their own. And they get absorbed into the system. They get their product gets forced through the Marvel machine, and then you get a movie at the end of it. They're just there to put their name on it. And yeah, they did that multiple times. Like, what was the woman who directed Black Widow? It was Kate Shortland.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Kate Shortland. Again, a director with some experience, but it was all just low budget, small movies, with dramas, that sort of thing. You can't then put someone like that in charge of like a $200 million espionage superhero flick and expect her to be able to make sense of it. That doesn't work like that. It'd be like putting it'd be like putting like a yacht skipper in charge of a super tanker or a aircraft carrier and saying like, right, go, just do it. It doesn't work like that.
You know what you're saying? You're saying it's a tiny percentage, but look at how many of those movies were movies that made an impact. Like if you've had your mouth shut for so long, almost like a geyser, like having your hand on something. Well, when it bursts, it's going to come out really powerfully and with a lot of energy. And
I mean, again, I could be wrong. I don't get the impression that, say, women in Hollywood are necessarily told to shut their mouths and not speak up. I get the impression they do the opposite nowadays. And they have done for quite a few years now.
But counterpoint, all of the female characters in The Bride did have to do that, which I think is the point that she wants to make. She's decided that that's the way that women in all walks of life have to behave, I guess.
I mean, if that's her perspective, then fair enough. It's just when we look at the landscape of Hollywood and what you hear from the public point of view, it seems to be the exact opposite. But it's like, I don't know, either she doesn't care or perhaps lives in a bubble where that doesn't exist. Or like, according to my theory, like she's actually been cryogenically frozen since about 2017 and is just not aware of anything that's happened in the past 10 years. I think that's equally plausible at this point.
It's also just a like failure to update your assumptions, because the problem is most activist people of virtually every persuasion have this same problem. Like so many of the things that they complain about were solved 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. You have the same thing with like LGBT activists and the same thing with feminist activists as well. Their entire reason for being, like, all of their frame of reference to be a bold visionary, to be a radical, to be a revolutionary who makes positive social change, you have to be able to upset the norm in which you live. You have to be able to make an impact. You have to subvert. You have to, and there was once a time when that was useful and valuable, and it created some really, really brilliant stories because there was actually something to be attacked. There was a position that you had to take. It took some courage and it took some imagination, and you had to be able to tell a brilliant story that would resonate with people in order partly to convince them. But you haven't really had to do that as a gay person or as a woman for at least 30 years, more like 60 realistically. But their ideal for what the purpose of their art is still the same. We have to be revolutionary. Against what are you revolting? Kind of nothing. And so she says, well, when you've been denied a voice for so long, the pressure builds up, which is an analogy that works just as well with a toilet U-bend as it does with a geezer. But then what does she have to say?
Both
when her
are
mouth
full of
is
shit, ultimately.
Yes, well, yeah, they are. But like, when she's finally allowed to open her mouth, what does she have to say? And the answer is nothing, as is evidenced by the bride, because there's nothing to be rebelling against. She won. Women are like, you have diversity quotas mandating 50% of women on virtually every corporate board. Like, what more do you need to achieve? And because there isn't anything they're really trying to achieve, they're just trying to larp the same revolutionary struggles that their ancestors rightly had to fight. They're just left in this weird, awkward position where, as she's sitting here now, trying desperately to justify her own existence and being completely unable to do so. She's in this position now because she already won that fight, or people better than her won that fight. And now she's trying to live up to them, and there's nothing left to do.
Scathing.
Wonder if what's happening culturally is gonna okay, I will say one thing about this. It's gonna bring like an unstoppable response, maybe especially from women.
It's going to be unstoppable, guys. Hold on to your hats. She's going to rock the world right now.
Say, and I don't know if I've said this out loud before. Again, maybe I'll get in trouble, but
this is when they do the classic, like, I might get in trouble for this. It might cost me opportunities, but I'm going to bash the orange man.
Is she about to say something that 99% of Hollywood would agree with?
Well, hold on, and let's just find out, shall we?
I actually think that when I really became a director was actually, I think, the first time that the morning that Trump was first elected. I think I was like, I have a lot more to say than I've been saying.
Oh God, it's amazing.
But what do you have to say?
Brave.
Why?
It would be like me going online and saying, look, I know this is going to be controversial. I know I'm probably going to lose followers for this, but chocolate biscuits are really tasty and nice.
I do like them.
It's such a shitty, like, Hollywood leftist starter pack comment to make, and like pretended like it's this bold statement that like, it could get me in trouble.
Yeah, real boldness is declaring that you hate onions. All right, that's where the real boldness exists.
Hey, Rags is entitled to go full retard on that one. It's fine.
Platoon can offer is educated dissertation and critique involving history and references. I will instead offer a Simpsons reference. Okay,
equally valid, MauLer.
Do you remember the Halloween episode where all the mascots come alive and start killing everybody? And
yes.
Marge says if Homer just gives Lard Lad his donut back, it'll end the horror. And it doesn't. It just amplifies it. He starts destroying houses with the donut, and then Homer, like, you see that for a while. He even kicks the dog, and it goes flying across like the street. And Homer just turns to Marge and goes, "Do you ever get tired of being wrong all the time?" Which I wonder if Maggie's ever heard that said.
It's yeah, I mean, it's funny to watch interviews like that now in 2026. You know, like I said before, it just feels that whole mindset is just like this weird throwback to a different era of Hollywood. Because even they, I think, have realized that you have to move on from that, and like just trying to blame the orange man for like everything, or say like, oh, this evil character in my movie is like a stand-in for him and what he represents. It's like, yeah, that's kind of played out now. We need a new angle. But it's like she's just, you know, waiting right in there, like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go for it. Why not? It's impressive, if nothing else.
It's so stereotypical of a woman to think of something that happened 10 years ago for a thing that's happening now, to make it relevant to a thing that's happening now. That's what women do. It's boggling, really.
I just think ultimately the whole thing is kind of it's a shame in a lot of ways, because it's a wasted opportunity. You know, if her goal was to prove again, because we have had like directors like Catherine Bigelow and stuff who've directed like highly successful movies by themselves. But yeah, if her goal was to say like, yeah, we can have female directors that should get more opportunities with big budgets to do like wild, you know, bold new movies and make it work. She could have done something with that. She could have had a really successful movie on her hands if she'd handled it better. Instead, we got a complete and utter failure. It's probably going to go down, I think, as one of the biggest flops of 2026. I mean, it's only March, but this is pretty severe. If you've got a 90 million budget, 65 million marketing, and you've brought in, you're probably going to talk about 20 million, maybe 25 by the time it's done. That's got to be one of the biggest flops of the year, not to mention the critical mauling that it's taken.
Yeah.
It's not doing your cause much good, and that's the unfortunate thing about this.
Agreed. Yeah.
Shame.
Indeed.
You
I
know,
think we need
whenever I
to
say that,
ring the bell and go shame. Ding.
you'll go in that direction. I was thinking Nick Frost in
Oh yeah,
Shame, which
both are good. Both
you've
are good.
seen, right, Drinker, the grumblings that we may be expecting an announcement regarding a new Cornetto film.
It's kind of like when we saw the cast reunions for Firefly. I'm like,
yeah,
just don't do it. Like,
get me
Edgar
out
Wright,
of this era, dude.
you're not
it.
the same Edgar Wright that you were 20 years ago, bro.
Well,
Sorry.
Everyone has cynically assumed, and I agree with them. It's like, so Hollywood hasn't worked out for you, Edgar. You like, best go back to the old roots, see if people are still interested in something else. I was like, oh, so disappointed, man.
Pretty much.
You don't even get Nick Frost. He's busy being Hagrid for like 10 years now.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's his life now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good gig.
No,
Nothing
yeah,
else. It'll pay well.
Good choice. It's just that you know, I don't know if he's got time to be as integral as he usually is.
Isn't that like a weird change of pace as well? Like maybe where Simon Pegg's going to be up for it, and Nick Frost is like, "Nah, I'm too busy." Like,
well, I think that's fair, right? Like Nick Frost's career is stronger than Simon Pegg's as it stands.
well, I think at this point, because now that the Mission Impossible movies are theoretically
Yeah.
over, like, and Star Trek isn't really a thing anymore, Simon Pegg doesn't really have much going on.
I mean, neither does Edgar Wright. I just assumed that they had a call. They're like, "Do you want to like fuck around and make another one?" And they need friends to tell them, "Do not do this."
So we could end up with a Cornetto quadrology.
No.
The second I knew that they couldn't do this was I can't remember if I told you about this, Drinker, but there is a video, I don't know if you've seen it, of Nick Frost and Simon Pegg apologizing for the homophobia in Shaun of the Dead.
Oh,
What?
No.
There's homophobia in Shaun of the Dead.
Where?
Yeah, it's the bit where he goes like, it's where Sean is like, I have to go and get Liz. Why?
Yeah.
Because I love her. And then he's like, all right, gay.
I love the because I love her. it's like very
And because I watched the director's commentary, or so I watched the commentary on that, and it's like they were talking about it, and they were like, yeah, we literally went back to like the primary schoolyard mentality of like
Right,
anything that was
gay.
like remotely showing affection for anyone, even a woman. It was like, yeah, you just got called gay. And it's
Which
like
is hilarious.
It's funny, but it's like,
I love a
funny.
woman and he says it's gay.
yeah, exactly. And it's how Ed is as a character. He's that immature. It's
Right.
like perfect for him. But yeah,
Yeah, there's a video where Simon Pegg like explains in great detail how it's actually not meant to be homophobic. It's unfortunate that it plays that way, and that I'm
But
sure they
it's
wouldn't
like,
do that.
It doesn't play. No one heard that. Like when you said homophobic, I was like, where in the movie? And I remember
Yeah.
that line. I just never drew the connection.
yeah.
Well, this is what I mean. Like, it's been 2 decades. They ain't the same guys. Edgar's lost his source. All right. I don't know what else to say. There are consequences for making this many movies in a row that I think are shit. I have to be honest with you. And then Simon Pegg, did he do an Ewan McGregor type video where he was like, stop being
Yes.
racist about Star Wars? Yeah.
He was talking about it was She-Hulk.
Oh, he
And
said it's the best thing
She-Hulk.
since
I was like,
Blazing Saddles.
What?
Yeah, he said that. It was one of those car hostage videos when he was talking about how amazing it was.
yeah, he was like, Tatiana Maslany is the bomb. It's like, oh, Simon, what are you doing? It's just sad.
I can just imagine Nick's like, nah, I'm in Hogwarts, mate. I can't help you out.
Yeah. Let me do a couple of super chats here just before we move on, because there's quite a few relevant to The Bride. I feel like I always have to yell it like, The Bride! Because it's exclamation marks. Maggie Gyllenhaal, quote, Hollywood should do this thing that benefits me at this point in my career. Talk about a grifter. It kind of is like, it's just like whatever's most appropriate for her. Yeah. I walked into The Bride not knowing anything about it and walked out halfway through. I can count on one hand how many movies I've walked out of, and this one would be the middle finger on that hand. I don't blame you one bit, man.
Well, loads of people did, didn't they? Like, it was making headlines how many people were walking out, and it was about the halfway point. And I don't believe anyone could pinpoint exactly what it was that made them walk out. It was just the general thing, everything about it up until that point.
I'm going to guess it's when they go into the Bonnie and Clyde sort of situation. I think that's when people probably thought, what the fuck is this movie turning into?
I thought it was the club, because I saw a lot of people saying walking out around the 30-minute mark, and we had that stupid club scene that just went on way too long.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, that makes sense why you'd walk out then.
That too, yeah.
I could totally picture Maggie Gyllenhaal finding this out and being like, now I've made a challenging film. Like that is a good result. You know, like Ryan Johnson, being like, I prefer a divisive audience. I prefer it when half the audience hate the movie. That's better.
The thing is, Ryan Johnson can say that about The Last Jedi, because The Last Jedi may not have made as much money as The Force Awakens, but it still made $1.5 billion. You can't say that about a movie that has made, what was it, 12 billion? You can't say, aha, yes, I've challenged the audience so much that they didn't come and see my movie.
They didn't see it because they hate women, and also they didn't like it because they hate women. It's
and apparently women hate women as well because they didn't go and see it either.
Those damn women, they ruined women.
Yeah, I like when Maggie says it starts to get dangerous when women get a lot of money. You hear a little "oh my god" from MauLer before he yells, "It sure does!" Like the Marvels, anyone? I felt that.
Yeah, we watched this video on Real BBC and it triggered me.
Yeah.
I am sorry. It's such a stupid thing to say. It's so easily, turnable into like actual fact, but without it realizing it. It's just like, yeah, it's fucking dangerous. You got to be careful. Got to give the right money.
Here's the one. Like, let's support good female characters here. Drinker and MauLer, you're about to go to fight the final boss. Which boss? Don't know. Just a boss. You have to pick a woman to watch your back. Is it going to be Ripley, Sarah Connor, Jill Valentine, or Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
This isn't fair.
Player. Who's your player two?
There's only one of these people. One of these people is not like the other. These are three humans versus a superpowered like.
Yeah, but like they're gonna have guns, whereas Buffy doesn't generally.
Well, what is the final boss? Depends.
Well, we don't know. It's just the final boss.
Because Buffy's pretty good with a lot of weaponry, but when she's not just stronger than them, she's stronger than like Captain America. She's got ridiculous strength.
I will say, right? So I'm gonna disqualify Ripley because she's not really a soldier. She is awesome in Aliens, but like, it's just because she's like going on sheer determination here. And I'm probably gonna take Buffy out of it because you like her and I don't.
What?
By default.
No, it's just the logic there.
I dislike her because you like her, you see. So I have to be opposed to you. So it comes down to Jill Valentine or Sarah Connor. Like Sarah Connor is from Terminator 2, very skilled with weaponry and so on. So she's a strong contender. But Jill Valentine from the later RE games has been infected by the T virus, and she's got like super strength. She doesn't age. She's got like a strong healing factor and stuff. And she has about 20 or 30 years of experience with like all kinds of weaponry, tactics, fighting bioweapons and stuff. So I hate to say it, I think my choice might be Jill Valentine, you know?
Okay, Buffy.
Well, my Jill can fight your Buffy and beat her, okay? So
well, if we're doing the best versions, Buffy reaches like god powers at one of the seasons. So I'm just gonna rip that final boss apart. Oh yeah,
fuck you. Oh yeah, Drinker keeps mispronouncing Gyllenhaal. Sorry, I mean, what can I say? I'm not like Swedish. What's the next one here? Yeah, Vex. Don't be dirty. Platoon, be careful. Your tongue is sharp. MauLer, keep it short. Drinker, love the review. Don't be ashamed to let out the waterworks. And Random, try not to steal the show. Don't steal it.
Short.
I'll try not to.
Yeah.
I'm offended.
Anyway, let's. What was the? Oh yeah, I swear had 10 times as much emotional impact on me as any of the competently average Oscar nominees. I'm inclined to agree on that one. Actually, that was a really good movie.
Yeah, it's good.
Very much enjoyed. I swear. If anything good came out of all that nonsense from the BAFTAs, it's perhaps a lot of people might have been inclined to watch I Swear out of curiosity.
Hope so.
Oh yeah, there we go. Jill got that super BBL from Wesker, also an invincible level 1 super. And she can make a mean Jill sandwich as well. So what can we say? I was going to ask you guys as well. So the merger between Warner, the dumbest studio in America, and Paramount seems to be going ahead. And David Ellison, like the guy who owns obviously Skydance, Paramount is started having meetings with the people at Warner, basically to begin the process of merging the studios together and so on. But one person who was studiously absent from all of this was Mr. James Gunn. James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn, who was making James Gunn movies for James Gunn. Yeah, he was not at that meeting, and apparently it's because he's in pre-production for Man of Tomorrow, so he couldn't even spare a couple of hours to take part in the meeting. A lot of people have interpreted that as James Gunn just doesn't want to meet with Ellison because either he's planning to leave anyway, and so it almost doesn't matter what Ellison's got planned, or because he, I guess on political grounds, just doesn't want to associate with the guy. But either way, it doesn't really look good in terms of his future at Warner.
He's screwed both ways. He's not going to be able to prove a profit for the team, and they also probably don't like each other. So it's like, yeah, he's out, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see any other resolution for this. Like, I don't imagine he's going to stick around for long. Weirdly, like, a lot of the chat now seems to be about him coming back to Marvel, which would be bizarre.
Oh, we made a joke about this. I don't know if it was real BBC or whatever, but the fucking he's gonna have to crawl through the resupplication hole in Mr. Burns. Yeah, that thing.
It's like filled with soot and shit.
Yeah, just look who came crawling back.
That's the thing though. Like, if he does go back to Marvel, he's just gonna make more Guardians of the Galaxy type movies.
Yep.
That's all he can do, and it's just sad. Like, I hate to say it, I almost just want James Gunn to take a break. Just stop making movies, James, and TV shows. Go and find a new shtick and come back with new ideas, because holy fuck, you are steamrolling the DCU into the ground with what you're doing, and no one's happy with it. I don't know, man.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, carry on.
No, I just wanted to ask, was this like a major meeting that they had today that he was absent for? Or was it just like, just kind of one of those, we just got a couple things to discuss sort of deal?
Well, apparently he met with about 150 Warner Brothers Discovery employees. Peter Safran was there. Also, you've got like Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi. So it's some pretty senior people. Like I guess most of the executive level people were there. And with Gunn being another executive who's running the entire DCU, he really should have been there for a meeting like that. It's kind of interesting that he's not. And like I say, if his excuse is like, "Oh, I'm in pre-production for Man of Tomorrow," not that I'm actively shooting, it's not gone into production yet. It's not that important. You could 100% skip a day of that and go to the meeting,
or just really FaceTime in. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah, which is kind of interesting. Yeah,
is Man of Tomorrow definitely happening? Sorry.
Yes, at the moment, yes.
Well,
but then there's lots of James Gunn projects that were definitely happening and then just weren't all of a sudden.
My assumption is he's bum rushing it now so that he can try and prove that he should have been able to stay, right? If you can get something, I assume he thinks like this is his last chance to make his position in DC more solid. Maybe appeal to shareholders in a conflict that may happen or whatever, but I actually think this is going to destroy that film even further. We saw what happened when he had enough prep time and shit for Superman. Imagine this, where it's like you got all this behind the scenes conflict going on. It's a sequel. We're mashing together even more characters now. He's trying to, get this done fast. I can't imagine. And this is Brainiac, by the way, for those who don't know, big intelligence, AI like creature.
Oh,
do you really think he can handle that?
James Gunn writing anything intelligent or anyone intelligent. It's just, and the thing is, because you say, well, he's rushing this one. I said, but how can you tell? Because that's what I got the impression was with Superman. I mean, he probably has a slight advantage at the moment in that he's got so many things which are definitely in production, and it would be inopportune to can him while they're still presumably hoping Supergirl will make money, Clayface will make money, Lanterns is due out and they will hope do reasonable numbers on streaming, and Man of Tomorrow probably will be happening. But after those four, I wouldn't be surprised if they paused green lighting anything after those, and then depending on how they do, James Gunn's either in or out, and it looks like out is more likely.
Well, because if Supergirl fails, then ordinarily you would have to pull the plug, right? You can't just keep feeding hundreds of millions of dollars into this cinematic universe that's meant to compete with Marvel. If your opening movie was a flop and then your second movie is also a flop, you can't do that.
It depends on what he's telling him, right? Like there's all kinds of wacky slithery shit he could say in terms of like, no, this is the market, this is what it's going to be, this is how it goes, we have to build up the universe, trust me, I know what I'm doing, I was there when they built Marvel and they wanted me to build their universe, but I chose you guys, DC, because I believe in you. Now you're looking at these numbers and you're thinking, oh god, a catastrophe. No, actually great success, more success you could ever imagine. We're in the best timeline. Now, when Supergirl comes out and crashes and burns, that's the plan. That we want that to happen. It'll encourage everyone to go watch Man of Tomorrow. Okay, it's all working to, and then eventually they'll just be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Shit.
Rumbled. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's difficult to, I guess, take anything that James Gunn says seriously. I don't know if you guys saw the video of his wife was up accepting a Saturn Award for Peacemaker season 2, and she was talking there about like, yeah, James would never admit to this, but Peacemaker is like literally his baby. It's like the thing he's most proud of out of all the stuff that he's made, and you can't help but wonder why. What is it about that fucking show that you're so proud of? Because holy Christ, it is bad. I mean, compared to like some of the other things he's produced, like that's the thing he's most proud of.
It's like, imagine the trilogy of Superman, Supergirl, Man of Tomorrow. When it's all said and done, that's his legacy for DC. Plus 2 seasons of Peacemaker that are just fucking bonkers and shit. And then it's like, oh, don't forget, he did write a lot of pieces for the Authority. What was the
Creature Commandos?
Creature Commandos, that's it. It's like, we got that too. For those who don't know, Batman turns up in that as a silhouette. Like, that's supposed to be like, hey, he's on the way. How we doing on that front, James? How's that going? He also said in 2023 that he's absolutely like getting the wheels turning on Wonder Woman. 2023.
Well, these things take time, MauLer, clearly.
That's what he's telling the Warner Brothers people. Like he's just like, you gotta give me time, and eventually he'll be like, dude, it's taking too long. Like, what do you mean?
Is it because they're trying to find a worse actress than Gal Gadot?
I don't think that's possible. It's like she was simultaneously the best and worst possible casting for Wonder Woman. It's like she is statuesque, she's really tall, and she's absolutely gorgeous. So it's like, okay, cool. Like physically, she's a match for her. It's just the problems start when she opens her mouth and she has to emote. It's like, oh.
But then how much more forgettable would those movies be without her? If anything, she's added value.
Yeah,
because
she's added meme value.
Sure.
Meme them.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Chris Pine hard carried the first one. She is a bad actress in the first one as well, but everyone was distracted by her hotness.
I think as well, like Patty Jenkins probably understood how to work within her limitations. It's like, you know what? Let's just have Gal Gadot act like Gal Gadot. Like, we're not going to ask her to do too much emotional stuff, nothing too heavy, nothing outside her comfort zone. She's just like a kind of nice, compassionate, feminine presence in the film. The problems came in with the second one, where she really had to get into some heavy, dramatic territory, and it's like, nah, she can't deliver that.
I need you to give me the stone.
Yeah. Max Lord, you have to give me the stone. You're in grave danger. It did force Pedro Pascal to shave off his mustache, though. And then
that's
we
crazy
realized,
in retrospect, yeah.
I know. Well, then you realize in retrospect why he has a mustache, because it quite radically alters the look of his face.
You're saying you don't find him as hot without the stash? Is that what you're saying?
I think a lot of his sexual power and energy is derived from that mustache, MauLer. Without it, he is powerless.
Hey, look, he said it, not me.
I mean, by all accounts, he's fallen out of favor in that regard as well. I mean, I think it's kind of an open secret in Hollywood that he's not what he claimed to be.
He's been pictured holding hands with a dude a couple weeks ago. That was all over the place. Yeah.
Shock and awe.
All right.
The thing is, like, fine. Like, be who you want to be and love who you want to love and stuff. But it's the fact that he's kept it secret because he knows that, like, part of his appeal is, derived from being some kind of weird quasi 50-year-old sex symbol, apparently.
God, it's like Twitch streamers. They don't tell people they have husbands and stuff because they're like, no, I'm single.
Kind of, I think, yeah. And, he's a guy who seems to understand, I guess, audience manipulation in order to be more popular. And he's been happy to play up to it as much as he can. Like, that dude will do anything for, a bit more coverage, a bit more attention. So, yeah, it makes sense. But
that doesn't stop women, though. Usually women will still go after gay dudes. Like, they'll still fantasize about gay dudes. That's the weird part about it. If he were just
the ultimate
open,
challenge,
right? But like, if he were just open about it from the get-go, he'd somehow have even more female appeal, strangely enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not one that agrees with that, but I just noticed, the trends of women online.
Drinker, do you agree with it?
Wholeheartedly. Like, hey man, I don't understand the psychology behind it, but
I don't either, but that's what they like.
Yeah. Sorry, we got sidetracked into Pedro Pascal's sexual energy. I don't know how we ended up there, but yeah. I've actually lost the thread of what the hell we were even talking about. James
What's the
Gunn
show called again?
Wonder Woman. We were talking about Wonder Woman.
Yes. Yeah, so and his immense body of work within DCU, which is basically boils down to an underwhelming Superman movie, a Supergirl movie that's going to flop almost certainly, Creature Commandos that no one gave a fuck about, Peacemaker that had a half decent season 1 and then a season 2 that was a disaster. What else? We've got Lanterns, which
looks pretty bad.
Yeah, well, I think it's a lot of people have pointed out, like, isn't it interesting that the villains in that seem to be like just middle Americans? Like, it's like a small town where everyone's white, and it's like that. There's something wrong here, and I think people have pointed to the sort of overarching theme in James Gunn's recent works, where it's like the the baddies are always conservatives because those are the people that dug up his old tweets and got him outed from Marvel and essentially took a couple of years off his career.
It's
and he's
why he's
never
proud
stopped
of
being
Peacemaker
bitter.
as well, because Peacemaker season 2 has they go through to Nazi realm. The only major difference being that it's clean and orderly there. But then he has a character there say, I don't think this world where the Nazis won is so very much different to ours. Fucking well done, James.
Profound.
That's,
Deep,
yeah,
bro.
absolutely profound.
Him and
realization.
Maggie Gyllenhaal need to have a conversation. Like, there's so much they could do together in terms of like subtle allegories.
That's the retarded Avengers right there.
Yeah. But no, it is interesting. It reminds me of Ryan Johnson as well, because I think MauLer, we talked about this once when we were discussing what the fuck was the recent Knives Out movie?
Wake Up Dead Man.
Well, that was it, yeah. There's just this undertone of absolute bitterness and hatred towards anyone right of center in his movies, and like a lot of like culture war stuff that he has to like throw in to have a dig at people. Why?
Can't resist.
Because all those people shat on The Last Jedi, and he's just still bitter about it to this day, and it shows up in his work every goddamn time, and it's just hilarious because all that shit lives like rent free in his head.
Yeah, I mean, it prevents him from being able to write a coherent script for sure. Though I'm not sure he could do it without that anyway. The Three Knives Out are horrifically awful. Glass Onion is one of the worst films that ever existed. Don't watch it. Just a quick review. Yeah.
Well, where is it? Retarded is the new black. Jesus. So yeah, I mean, like in terms of Gunn's future, it's DCU. I think from what we've discussed previously, like the prevailing opinion seems to be he's going to stick out until Man of Tomorrow is done. His contract will be up, and he's probably going to make a not so dignified exit after that.
When's Man of Tomorrow supposed to come out?
Next year, isn't it?
Probably.
Let's see.
Because this merger is supposed to start going through at the beginning of 2027 is what I remember reading somewhere.
Yeah, so Man of Tomorrow, July 2027 is apparently when it's going to come out.
Okay.
We're not exactly waiting with bated breath for that one, but In fact, when is Supergirl coming out? Is it summer this year?
This
summer, yeah.
May, I think. Yeah.
Too soon.
Too soon. Haven't they lost their composer again on that?
Yep, they're on the third one now. There was Ram Djawadi, who is, for anyone who doesn't know, he did like the Game of Thrones theme. He's Westworld. He's possibly one of the best working composers ever. He's done so much work. He did Iron Man. Then they moved to Junkie XL, was it? I think.
Yes.
And then they've moved now to a third one. I forget her name, but she's done a couple of movies or whatever. But to me, this is a major sign of turmoil. Third composer. You got 3 months away or whatever, less than that for the movie, and they just got a new composer. You're like, oh boy.
Why do you even need a composer for a James Gunn style movie where you can literally just sample pop songs from the 80s and
pop
90s?
songs all the way through. Maybe that's why the others kept quitting. It's like, James, we've got this really, I didn't know, how about pop music? But I just wrote this amazing, no, how about Beach Boys?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And it's funny because we talked about this before. Like Supergirl, it's not directed by him and it's not written by him, but somehow it just feels like the most James Gunny film ever. Like the trailer is just pure Gunn. Yeah, it's not a good sign, I guess. I'd be amazed if this movie even comes close to turning a profit.
I mean,
I'm surprised if it makes 50.
I mean, yeah, that's the problem. It will be. I still think I will like it more, and that it will be better than Superman because it will probably be smaller scale, and it won't have Lex Luthor making fucking ridiculous, stupid supervillain plans. It might be a better film, but if your Superman movie does not do well at the box office, your Supergirl movie probably ain't going to do much better than that, and it probably will do quite a bit worse than that as well. And that's the second movie that you're releasing. It's such a weird selection of characters to kick off your DCU with. Superman, Supergirl, Clayface. Okay.
It's characters that James Gunn personally found interesting rather than any kind of like business decision or any artistic merit to it. Supergirl is 100% going to hinge on whether or not the character is likable. She has got to be likable. If she's not, the movie's fucked. And that's the thing.
The movie is fucked because she's not likable in the trailers. So
Well, that's what I'm worried about, because like I'm worried implies that I actually give a shit whether this movie succeeds. But like that's what I'm thinking. Like she doesn't come across as particularly likable. With Superman, it's kind of easy. Like you literally just have to make him like a Dudley Do-Right. He's trying to help people. He's trying to be like heroic and stuff. They somehow almost found a way to fuck that up with this last Superman movie, but they got the essence of it right. With Supergirl, it's a bit more of a complex situation, and they're framing her as like this drunken party girl who's kind of cynical and washed up, and you know, it's such a drag being young and hot and like super powered and stuff. And, fuck off. But
I want to find out whether they will address, like, did she know about the rape everyone to death plan? I need to know this.
I'll be looking out for that. I'm
she
curious.
was an enabler. She was the Ghislaine Maxwell of the situation.
Oh no!
that's why she's a drug. There you go.
Yeah, drinking to hide the memories, huh?
Well, the only way out of them explaining that would be for them to say that Supergirl was drifting in the cosmos for the last, 30 years, right?
Yes. And she didn't have any prior knowledge of what their plan was before like Krypton exploded, because she was there for that, wasn't she? Like she did see that happen. Then she was jettisoned and sent off to Earth. So she kind of knows more than Clark or than Kal-El.
And James Gunn, I noticed that he addressed it in interviews when people were saying, that wasn't real though, was it? And he said, it was real. Why do you keep insisting it wasn't real? This was obviously a sensible writing decision. It was totally real. But he said, like, well, you know, all Kryptonians, they're not the same. And maybe she didn't know, even though she's older than him, I think, in this continuity. But maybe she knew nothing about it. But like, even that doesn't work, because if Clark's parents are unusual in wanting to rape everyone to death, then you think that they would be even more notable on Krypton.
It's the fashion on Krypton, okay, to rape people to death.
Yeah, that might stand out a little bit if it's abnormal.
Just a little bit,
yeah. Parties on Krypton must have been wild, man. Yeah, I mean, none of it makes any sense, and I 100% believe that they will not tackle it at all. They won't try and explain it. It was a terrible decision there to make that part of his backstory. I don't know what they thought they were going to accomplish with that, but man, it creates so many problems that are just going to echo now through the rest of the DCU for the next 2 years that it lasts before it gets retconned. So maybe that's a problem that will solve itself, I guess. Yeah, I like this one. He's most proud of Peacemaker because he loves watching his wife with John Cena.
Dude, that was so weird. Like
that,
I know. Weird choice.
Because I get it. Like, if your wife is an actress and she's cast in a movie like that requires certain things, it's like, well, okay, let's be mature about this and stuff. But when you're the person who fucking writes it and makes it happen
and films it,
you didn't have to do that, but you chose to. It's like, well, that takes it to a different level, then, James. Jesus. Let's see. Yeah. My condolences to you, brave viewers. You couldn't pay me to watch The Bride. Well, yeah, I don't blame it. We watched it so you don't have to. Putting a cosmic superhero like Green Lantern in Middle America is like putting Silver Surfer in hipster Williamsburg. Don't you want to see Green Lantern drive around in a car and just chat?
And not be green?
Yeah, and not actually manifest stuff that's really expensive on VFX, I guess. Oh, here's a good question, actually. Just stuck out. Was recently watching Lord of the Rings, and I was wondering, which Lord of the Rings army would you guys want to be part of? Rohan, Gondor, Elven, or some other?
Rohan.
Orc.
A Hobbit army.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think
Rohan's my pick as
canonically
well.
Elven, but they get fucked up in the movies, so it depends if we're going from books or films. But I like the elves; their armor's
Elf?
nicest. So
Yeah.
it's
Is
about
this
the script.
assuming that you are an elf or that you're you?
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
assumed I'd be an elf. I think the same answer either way though, because I'd get to wear the sexy armor. So why not?
I think elves, because like in terms of your survivability and like the amount of like kills you get per death, they're probably the best. Like they are the most disciplined and
I want
most
Rohan for the
powerful.
vibes. They seem like the coolest.
Yeah.
Coolest. They party
They have
hard.
the
They
best
work
theme
hard.
as well.
They do. They're Vikings,
Yeah.
basically.
Mhm.
I got to show some love for the dwarves then. I'd be a dwarf. Give me heavy armor and a hammer, and we're gonna go.
Does the army of the dead count? Because you're effectively unkillable then.
Yeah, would you like to be a zombie?
Infinitely suffering in that cave of skulls. You're like, yeah, but I live forever.
Yeah. I could just roll over everything in my path. It's great fun, man. What was it? All right, let me bring that down. Yeah, I know we don't normally cover gaming here. This just kind of made me chuckle. Like, so 1348 Ex Voto, whatever the fuck it's called. So it's set itself up as like an open world RPG medieval combat adventure game. There's going to be a direct rival to Knight's Path, which is kind of interesting. But they were very much appealing to the modern audience, where you play as a 90-pound lesbian who's somehow able to wear full plate male armor and fight guys twice her size. This is the current stats for the game now that it has actually launched. It's had a peak number of users of 427. That's
I know nothing about. Is this like a major AAA release? Is it an indie release? Like, is there much money riding on it?
It's not indie and it's not AAA. It's kind of in between. So a relatively low budget studio, but it's kind of similar to, you know, how Knight's Path a month or two ago made the news because they essentially responded to a question saying, "Look, we're not here to pander into modern politics or anything like that. We just want to make a fun game that's set in medieval times." And that got a lot of praise from some quarters and a lot of criticism from others. But it got them on the map, ultimately. The makers of this game, which represents everything that gaming, you know, arguably is devolving into, just pandering to political ideals and modern audiences, they straight up threw shade at them and said, like, "Wow, we're here to give you like the modern take on it," and they were very much like, "Yeah, we're going to fix this." Now that the game has actually come out, though, I don't know. The modern audience doesn't seem to have showed up for it, unfortunately. Much to my non-surprise.
This is a super small studio that I remember when they showed this trailer at, I think it was Summer Games Fest was the debut last year. And I thought, oh, this is really interesting. And then I was like, wait a second. Is that a tranny in 1300s Italy? What are we? And then I got confirmation that, oh, it's a 12-year-old lesbian. So I was like, oh, well, that's certainly a take that we can go with. But that's kind of a nothing burger in the grand scheme. This wasn't a AAA release or anything. I think the dev team is only like 20, 25 people on top of that. So
yeah,
it's a shame because it looked good. If you just swap out the main character for a young man, you've probably hit gold right there, because most of the people that play this type of game and this genre of game are men. And they play for the immersion.
That's the thing is, it's kind of a wild take, but it's fairly logical to assume, like, if it's a medieval combat RPG, it's probably going to appeal more to guys than girls.
Right.
And
so, making her a lesbian doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
But I do know that, like, if you'd spent months or years working on a game and probably poured a decent amount of money into it, even if it's not like a AAA studio or anything like that, to only have 400 people playing it it's not great. It's not a great result. Like, if I spent like a year or two writing a book, for example, and only sold 400 copies, I would feel pretty fucking sick. Like, wow, that was not time well spent on my part. And this is like launch day, so this is pretty much as good as it's going to get.
Unless it gets massively positive word of mouth, but it sounds like it's not going to get that.
No.
Because it is literally the only thing I've ever heard about this is that you play a lesbian knight. It's like, that's everything I've heard. So the odds of positive word of mouth for gameplay, technical achievements, environments, anything else, if there's even anything to say about it, that isn't cutting through. And all people are seeing is probably the least popular aspect of it, which is, oh, another game has decided to do good old-fashioned identity politics stuff for the protagonist. It's one of the least popular things you can do. Sometimes that will lead to unfair results, but it's not necessarily the fault of any individual game. The fact that, unfortunately, a whole bunch of games have come out which have sort of seemed to lean in the same direction and have been terrible in exactly the same way. So players' pattern recognition kicks in, and you will struggle ever to escape the rut that your peers have left you in.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I did manage to capture a screen grab for like the thumbnail that I put on my own video when I made it about this, and I'm super proud of it because I think it encapsulates the work that they put into this game. That's the that right there is the fair maiden that our main character is striving to save. So-
Totally
me
worth
of those-
scissoring.
That reminds me of those Resident Evil meme videos where they dial the facial animations up by 300%.
I do love them. Oh dear Lord, yeah. Might have put in a little bit of time more on the character animations. I don't know. It's crazy, but ugh. Yeah. Anyway, that was just a slight diversion there, and I apologize, but it just did make me chuckle. Let me bring a couple of super chats up here. Oh, let's just refreshing the list here. Oh, yeah. Hey, gents, if you're Arnie's agent and these 3 films are guaranteed to be great, which role would you want to see reprised? So, Predator, King Conan, or Commando 2?
Is
King
he not
Conan.
too old to do any of these things?
Yes.
Well, they say if it's going to be great, they find a way. And if they
Oh.
find a way, I have to opt for just, my favorite would be Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they dose him up on all the painkillers and all the steroids to get him moving again, yeah, probably Predator. They are actually apparently working on a King Conan movie, which I don't want to see. With Arnold in the state that he's in. I don't know if you guys saw the footage of him recently where he was at like an event and he was like playing around with the idea of like, oh, I can't fit through the door because I'm too big and stuff. But then when he actually got through and walked across the room, like that guy is struggling to get around.
Well, he's
Like-
entered the frail years, unfortunately. That's just how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like I don't begrudge him at all. He's almost
No.
80. We all get old. It's fine. It happens. But that just means there's certain things you can't do anymore. And one of those things is playing Conan the fucking Barbarian. You
Yeah.
can't be doing that anymore. So
Well,
yeah.
if he's King Conan and he's just kind of there in the background more, it makes sense with his age. Because if it's Predator, you can't have Dutch running around doing anything. So if
No.
they bring him back into the story, he'll be like a consultant, or he'll be like, back when I was in Mexico. It'd be kind of that story.
I
Same
think
with
they are
Commando.
going they
Really
are
mean-
going to bring him
you
back
could
for the
just get
new.
a general or whatever, right? Like, there's ways to make that work, I think.
Well, I think what they're going to do in Predator universe is they're going to bring it back for the next animated Predator movie. Like,
Yeah.
they did
Yeah,
Killer
you
of
can do that
Killers
as
or
well.
whatever. Yeah, so they're going to have Dutch get defrosted and Arnie's just going to do the voice for it, which
Go
fair enough, but,
away.
like, the thing is, I know they're going to cuck him, and I know he's going to get outshone by Naru or whoever they choose. Like,
It's
they have to.
Trachtenberg, right? Because he made Killer of Killers as well.
Yep.
Yes,
He's in charge of all of this. No, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away.
just leave it. Stop doing things to my favorite
Touching it. It's not yours.
franchises.
Sticky fingers.
Yeah, Drinker, here in America, we love Braveheart, but we don't know shit about William Wallace. You're an actual Scotsman. What do you think of that movie? Is it a masterpiece or is it overrated? So, Braveheart, it is a really good, emotionally manipulative movie. It's a good Hollywood take on William Wallace. The actual history of him is a lot more complicated and quite murky in places, and he wasn't the man of the people, the common man that he's portrayed as in this film at all. And he actually did some pretty horrific shit of his own. But yeah, in terms of just getting you pumped up and like getting you excited about following a hero and going on this crazy journey with him and him meeting his tragic end. Yeah, it does what it does very, very effectively.
I think it's unfair that Patriot gets skewered for being historically inaccurate, whereas Braveheart gets like all the praise and adoration. It's like they are just as inaccurate as each other, okay?
Yeah,
If
but
I
you're
can-
seeing like the criticism of Patriot comes from the American perspective, and like this guy says here,
What-
the Americans don't know fuck all about the actual William Wallace history,
Is
but
that
they
even
do
true?
know
I
about.
always thought it was the British that were upset because they portrayed as hyper evil, and I was always like, well, yeah, but it's good storytelling though. Like, that they're super evil.
No, like wasn't it more just like it's kind of melodramatic and over the top and silly,
It's-
like
it's
literally
both.
defeating the villain with the stars and stripes by like impaling him on it. Like
That's
Jesus.
fucking awesome. What are we talking about here? Do I have to be
I mean-
like the American on the team here?
It is awesome. I'm
Americans
just
rise
saying,
up.
like,
We love
I'm just-
skewering the British with the American flag.
I'm just saying, like, in a movie that's meant to be somewhat historically realistic, it's like I can't see that happening in a real battle. It would be
I think
amazing if it did.
It's interesting because I feel like the line for people will move depending on how good the movie is. Because if it's something like Pearl Harbor that everyone just universally agrees is trash, then people are going to justifiably rip into it for being horrendously inaccurate. The Patriots, a little bit middle ground because there are good things about that movie. But then Braveheart's great. And then, people will still criticize it, but like, it's still a really good movie.
The message and the emotional resonance is still there for Patriot
Yeah.
and Braveheart, regardless of the accuracy.
Yeah, I honestly, I think Braveheart is great. I think Patriot is slightly underrated. I think a lot of people don't assume it actually has a decent story in there, that it's like kind of a wacky telling or whatever. But because I rewatched it somewhat recently, I was like, this is not bad. Like, this is pretty good. The performances in it are fucking surprisingly good.
It was Roland Emmerich, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the reason why you'd be like, how could it be good? It's Roland Emmerich. You're like, listen, Michael Bay directed The Rock, okay?
Yeah.
What's this? Yeah, here you go. We accept MauLer as American. There you go.
I'm an American when I'm watching that film, okay?
You've transitioned from Welsh to like your true place in the world, America.
That's like my favorite Jason Isaacs role. He's so ridiculously evil and he's excellent.
Yeah. He's Lucius Malfoy, but without the blonde hair. Like he's dyed it black, basically. Yeah. He's that evil.
Which is saying something because he's great in Death of Stalin. He's fucking hilarious in that.
Oh, he's superb. Yeah, Zukov. Yeah. I do like the bit in Patriot where they blow up like a bunch of ships in the harbor. I think at Boston. And like one of the ladies there at this like evening soiree is like, "Oh, fireworks! How beautiful!" And she's like applauding, and he just like downs an entire martini just out of absolute.
He like blew up all their supplies.
Here's a very pertinent question. What do you think of One Piece Season 2 if you've seen it? And will there be a review coming soon, Drinker? Thank you. I didn't actually know it had come out like today or yesterday. So I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. MauLer and I were just talking about it backstage before we went live, but I'm looking forward to watching it. Don't know why they decided to dump all the episodes in one go. They should have done it weekly, give us a chance to watch it and talk about it. Ridiculous, but I'm going to watch it and review it. So looking forward to it.
I have been struck though by like how little attention, because I didn't know it had come out either. I knew it was coming, but I had no idea it was out, and I've not seen anyone really mentioning it anywhere. And I thought season 1 was kind of fun.
You haven't seen tits all over your Twitter timeline? There's just tits all over mine. So
really? That a lot, but
man, I want to be on your timeline then.
Random clips from across all different episodes, out of order in weird ways. People saying like whether they like or dislike, and I was just like, God, this fucking chaos. How did Netflix not know? If you lock in one at a time, everyone focuses and talks about that shit. And it not only like, is better for just build up word of mouth, assuming the show is good, but it's also better for just clarity. I have no idea what's going on. It's not exactly tempting to check out the show with that kind of like chaos going on. I'm just going to wait for Gary to say whether or not it's worth it. See what he thinks.
Gary is your barometer.
He liked episode 1.
He will tell us all. The other thing I was going to talk to you guys a little bit about was everyone remembers Rachel Zegler. She was a thing. Remember last year? She did a thing. She did a movie. Snow White. Wasn't the roaring success I think that Disney were hoping for, but she recently did an interview with Variety, I think it was. She was talking about the way the film was received and the backlash that she received as part of her role with that. So there's two strands to it. One was, I think, her talking about her casting as Snow White, and then the second part was her talking about the interesting things she had to say about the original movie and politics and all the other stuff that really was the meat of the issue with people's issue with her. But allow me to quote her, and you can draw your own conclusions here. In a new interview, Zegler recalls receiving negativity when she was casting, first of all, Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. So, quote, "I was told that I wasn't enough of one thing for West Side Story, and I was too much of another thing for Snow White. It was a really confusing time to be in my early 20s and hearing that. I grew up proud of being Colombian, eating the food, wearing the dresses, drinking the coffee, because I guess only Colombians drink coffee. I don't know. Doing all the things that were so intrinsic to who I was as a kid and who I am as an adult. Well, they shouldn't have let you drink coffee as a kid, actually.
Yeah.
I do think there's an argument to be made that in the public eye, at least, when you're two things, you're simultaneously nothing, but I refuse to assimilate for anybody's comfort. It's kind of funny that she never talks about being Polish. It's just Colombian. I don't know. Maybe you don't get as many diversity points in Hollywood if you're Polish. But she says, yeah, the release of Snow White was marred by another controversy centered on Zegler's comments about the outdated character from the original movie and the vocal support for Palestine. I've said what I feel, and that will always be a testament to my core beliefs as a human. That's where I stand. You live and you learn, and there's a caution that comes with that. There's an understanding that the temptation to speak doesn't always mean that it must be done, and that there are a lot of opportunities to make more meaningful change than a tweet, which is kind of an interesting way of saying, I probably shouldn't have said what I said, but I 100% stand by the things that I said, even though they were completely retarded and tanked the movie and nuked my entire career, which is it's a bold strategy. I
Didn't
guess.
The producer for Snow White have to fly out to meet her to try desperately to get her to shut the fuck up. I'm sure
Yes.
he did that. And then his
did.
son took to Instagram and started going off on a massive rant about how insufferable and intolerable and intolerant she is. And about how she was, for all she likes standing up for the little guy, she's basically putting a lot of little guys' jobs at risk by tying the financial fortunes of this movie to her extremely repellent personality. Did a very good job of that. She almost achieved one very worthwhile thing, because when that movie came out and bombed, there was for about a week talk that maybe this would put some other live action remakes on hold. And I'm all in favor of doing that. But then Lilo and Stitch came out, and now we have a billion of them again. So she couldn't
right
even...
about that. They
Rapunzel.
paused Tangled because of
Yes.
Snow White, and now
Okay.
it's back on. And they just announced that Catherine Hahn's going to be cast as the witch, whatever the fuck. I was just like, thanks, Lilo and Stitch, ruining the whole industry with you.
Well, I mean, Rachel
garbage.
did what she could to put the brakes on all these live action remakes, and she almost succeeded. So we should at least thank her for that. But I don't know. I mean, it's almost impressive to be that unrepentant. Like, it would have been easy to just say, yeah, you know what? I said a bunch of dumb things because I was young and idealistic, and I was all a bit caught up in the whole fame thing. And in retrospect, it was probably a bad idea. Might have helped her. I don't know if it would necessarily resurrect her career or anything, but it could have been something. Instead, it's like, nope, stand by everything I said.
Well, I think she
Fuck you.
probably has more to lose from repudiating it, because she is one of those. I mean, she was cast, unless I'm mistaken, she was cast in West Side Story on the strength of her social media following. She's one of those newish generation of actors who is really massively popular on Instagram and YouTube and is picked up as a result of that. They have their own fan bases, so they don't believe they have any higher loyalty to a studio that hires them or a director that needs the film to succeed. And so she probably makes the calculation that if she comes out and repudiates everything she said, then okay, maybe some people in Hollywood will like her a bit more, although that damage is already done. But more importantly, everyone who currently likes her individually on YouTube and Instagram will hate her. And then she will have sacrificed two sets of fans and supporters rather than maintaining the radical version of one.
Well,
I mean,
also, if she went back on what she said, then that's not going to change the fact that her behavior tanked Disney's, $300 million movie? Like,
Yes.
she's pissed off the mouse, and that's not going to change.
I mean, yeah, there is that, but I think I guess you look beyond Disney to like other career opportunities, and ultimately, it's like our Hollywood casting director is going to steer clear of her now because they know that she's like nuclear grade toxic. Yeah, they 100% are, but you could start to mitigate some element of that damage by issuing a bit of an apology, like I just said earlier. It's not going to fix everything, and it's not going to get your career momentum back, but it might start to assuage some of that public perception against you. And that's what is the key to then getting you cast in other things, because as far as I know, she doesn't really have anything coming up in terms of big roles, major movies or anything like that. So
She did because I know she did the Hunger Games prequel, which,
Yes.
as far as I know, just made no splash at all. It
flopped.
wasn't a noted.
Yeah.
I didn't even think it was that notable a flop. It just exists. Then she went back to theater, and I think she was in Evita for a while, which is probably what her skills are most noted. Like, she has a very big mouth, and that's what you need in theater. And she can sing reasonably well, albeit with no character. So theater is definitely right for her. So I guess she's kind of been hiding there for a bit, getting the support of other theater kids like herself. And maybe once the dust has settled and maybe she's detoxified a bit over time, some other casting director will say, hey, come sit on my couch. But until then, she's just going to keep doing theater.
She's got a movie coming out, but none of the studios want to pick it up for distribution. So that's why she suddenly, I can't remember.
She does, yeah. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can find the name of it. It's like a movie I've never heard of, and it doesn't seem to have like a page or anything of its own. But hold on.
I think she's trying to, instead of just doing the any press is good press, she's trying to play the sympathy card, because everything in this interview is not so much, oh, this is what I want and this is what I think. And it's more like, oh, woe is me. Like, I'm just a normal, relatable girl, guys. Because that's what appeals mainly to a female demographic, is they want the relatability marks. That's why Hailey Bieber is raking in millions of dollars with a subpar makeup brand. So I would imagine that's what she's trying to do here.
So the film that she's going to be in next is called She Gets It From Me.
There we go. Yeah.
It's filming at the moment. There's no confirmed release date.
Marissa Tomei's in that, I think, as well.
Yeah, she is. Again, like, no disrespect to Marissa Tomei. She's not exactly a big mover and shaker in Hollywood at this point in her career. Yeah, I'm just trying to see who else isn't. I'm sorry. I like Marissa Tomei. She's a good actress, but like, she is a more mature.
She's past her prime.
Stage.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's all Rachel Zegler's got coming up. But yeah, to go back to the point Platoon was making there, like, yeah, her natural home is probably more like musical theater. She is a tolerable actress in terms of talent, not in terms of personality, but just enough to be able to like hold her own in low-level movies. She can sing to a reasonable degree. Yeah, probably stage shows and stuff are her thing. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, if I was her, I guess I would try to go that Brie Larson route of like not necessarily apologizing, but just trying to make peace with the mistakes I'd made and then move forward from there.
There was no bounce back for Brie, though, for doing that. That's the thing. Like, her career didn't rebound. And I think that might be a small part of it, is like the actresses that just kind of disappear or like stop being in the forefront like that. They don't come back at all, even if they are muted.
I mean, I guess the problem Brie had as well is like, she's a bit older now. Like, she's, I don't know, late 30s. Which is not old, but like, for an actress, like, that's your prime years might be sort of behind you. Like, that period in your like late 20s to your mid 30s is when you really want to be forging your A-list career. And she obviously spent it like doing nothing because she was like toxic by that point. Zegler's younger, and so she's got a bit more time, so she has more opportunities to bounce back. But I just don't know if she will, because like, she doesn't really have the big hits behind her to prove it.
Yeah,
Bree's got a hit tour with Mario. She's saying the right thing. She's the only gamer on the cast, which is getting her she's pulling her some credit from the audience, apparently. Minor.
I mean, sure, but then her face isn't in front of audiences. Like, she's just doing the voiceover, and like, she won't necessarily get the credit for it.
The promo stuff she does, and then there's just different interviews that are getting shared by people being like, because she's got actual gamer cred. I did not realize this. She's an actual
she's a huge Nintendo gamer.
Her favorite game is Nintendo, apparently. Yeah,
like, she was tweeting like a decade ago about how much she was enjoying playing something on the Wii U. People were like, "That's not something you fake. That's like, she was actually doing that."
Wow.
One of 5 people who bought the Wii U.
Exactly.
I'm recalibrate my estimation of her.
Her and Gary are going to go head to head at one point and see who's the biggest gamer.
Yeah. But Brie Larson also has talent. Like, she is quite a good actress when she wants to be. She's been in things where she's put in really good performances, so she can fall back on that. So as long as, if she can, either wait it out long enough that the slightly toxic personality she displayed in those interviews is forgotten, or she sufficiently makes amends for that so people just stop minding, all she really needs to do is be given a couple of roles where she's able to use her full acting range again, and people will remember before she was Captain Marvel, she actually had a career in front of her. Whereas with Rachel Zegler, I don't know that she has much talent. Like she's loud and she can hold a note, but otherwise, like she hasn't got that past record. She came from nothing. Well, she didn't come from that. She built herself on YouTube. She was lumped into a Spielberg thing. Then she got Snow White, and then she tanked that movie's performance individually. And at no point in that was any really good acting ever demonstrated. It was acceptable singing and a social media following that got her. So I don't know what she has to fall back on particularly. And I think what you've read out there is probably the closest you will ever get to her to an apology. It's kind of trying to have both things at the same time, telling studios, I've moderated a little bit. I'm slightly more careful in the words that I use, as evidenced by the fact that I've just given a really long word salad non-apology. So, I'm safe now. Hire me. Whether that works, I don't know. At least she's got years in front of her. But I mean, I'd be fucking happy if I never saw her again.
Yeah, she doesn't have very much on-screen charisma is the other thing. At least Brie Larson, there's a lot of roles before she was cast in the MCU where she was good. She has an Oscar for crying out loud as well. So,
yeah, I mean, she was a funny one back in the day. Definitely has a talent, and it's like I think her home is much more in like smaller dramas and stuff rather than superhero movies and that sort of thing. But like, I guess that's what she was pushed into. But yeah, she just made the mistake of overestimating her cultural power and what she could get away with saying, and it all came at the wrong time. I don't know. She might bounce back, I guess. But I wouldn't exactly hold my breath.
Based on some of Ziegler's Instagram posts, she has a very promising career in OnlyFans if she wanted to go that way. So,
Jesus.
There you go, Rachel. There's your fallback.
Sad times indeed. But there you go. Such is the way of Hollywood. I would say one of the weird, unexpected bits of collateral damage from Snow White is that Gal Gadot seemed to like catch a lot of the flack for that movie as well, because I think that was the movie where people finally realized, like, damn, she cannot fucking act to save her life. Like, she had to play the antagonist, and Disney antagonists, Disney villains, that requires a decent amount of acting range. You have to be charismatic, you have to have range, you have to emote, and you have to be compelling. And ironically, Gal Gadot is none of those things. And I think that was the point where people finally realized it. And damn, I don't know. Like, you just don't really hear of her being in anything these days. Like, she was all over the news for years after Wonder Woman. And now, really nothing. No one talks about Gal Gadot anymore.
I think the Ziegler creature has some blame for that as well, in that the issue she chose to make very, very dramatic, unfortunately, is going to be one that occurs, and there's a big risk of it anytime you cast Gal Gadot in anything, because she's Israeli. And lots of Hollywood actors like spouting certain lines when it comes to questions of Israel and the Jews. And there's always a risk that, if you hire her, you're just inviting insane boycott campaigns from certain sections of the fan base, or co-actors who try and force her to say things she doesn't want to say, or who believe that they have to say something to distance themselves of association with the vile Jew. So, like, what are you supposed to do? I'm not even really joking. Quite a lot of Hollywood types think in this way. If you're trying to cast for a movie, what you really don't want is to land yourself in the middle of an Israel-Palestine controversy.
Yes, yeah.
And every time you cast Gal Gadot, through no fault of her own, that is the controversy that's going to dog you. So I wouldn't be surprised if her roles have slightly dried up, not because of her staggering lack of talent, but because of events that she has nothing to do with whatsoever.
Well, she's also come out in quite a few interviews with some very pro-Israel statements. She was in the IDF as well, because they have that mandatory thing, right? So she's
which is mandatory as well. And I just think it's extremely unfortunate for her as a human being that, in the same way that you probably wouldn't want any actor of any background to have to, like, you don't want Pedro Pascal to come out and have to confront whether or not he's gay or straight. It shouldn't be of any interest to the audience. You shouldn't want any actor who happens to be Palestinian to be expected to give a line on current events. And you shouldn't want Gal Gadot to have to do that either. It's just, unfortunately, this is the way that audience mechanics tend to work these days. Everybody's very fired up about every political issue. And it just happens that Gal Gadot is inseparable from one of those. So, to her misfortune, she's going to find it slightly harder to get work. I think it's a real shame because I like how funny she is, but that's the world we live in.
Yeah. I know this is like completely unrelated, but Margot Robbie, right, as an actress, she has the most bizarre career path that I can think of, right? I say this because I do like her, but holy fuck has she squandered opportunities. So, like, as far as I understand, she exploded onto the scene with Wolf of Wall Street, right, as this like new blonde bombshell that like absolutely beautiful, and you know, this object of desire and stuff. Obviously, like, you know, did the Quentin Tarantino movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then spent the next 5 years trying to like get a mainstream leading lady role that would work for her. Like, they tried so hard to make her work as Harley Quinn. Every movie that she did like that kind of flopped and failed. Finally scored a hit with Barbie, and then disappeared for like the next 2 years to, like, as far as I know, she started a family. And then came back with Wuthering Heights, and you know, a super divisive movie that people seem to like either love or hate. Like, most people seem to kind of hate it, like particularly with its like its tone and so on, and its lack of faithfulness to the source material. And I just thought, damn, man, like, you seem to have like squandered the opportunities that have come your way, either through bad timing or just bad judgment. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's weird. Like, she's had this 10-year like reign of like almost being an A-list star, but not quite making it, and then like, you know, moving backwards and stuff. I don't get it. I don't know what her approach is.
Yeah, like she's in between those movies though. She was doing like a lot of modeling and brand ambassador work for some pretty big brands. So I know she was raking it in that way. But the other thing too
I'm
is
sure
like
she's making money, yeah, for sure.
yeah, she came on the scene right at the end of like the hot actress era, and then the prime of her career were those years where, oh, let's just put all these like ugly, you know, feminist gremlins in the spotlight. Let's be, you know, super relatable to the average woman. And Margot Robbie does not look at all like the average woman. So I feel like that's probably a small part. And then there's not a lot of box office success behind her name on top of that, given what she did get roles in. So
I might be hallucinating. She is Barbie, right?
she is
Yes,
Barbie,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes. That's what I was saying.
that-
Like, she massive success, obviously, but then like that was like the pinnacle of her career so far.
Yeah.
She then like essentially left acting for a year or two because she went and had she started a family, which fair enough. It just seems like a really bad time to do that when you've got all this momentum behind you, finally, after like the best part of a decade of trying. And then when you come back, it's almost like, well, you know, maybe the industry's kind of moved on in your absence, and now you've got to claw back that momentum again. And do you really want to have to?
Wasn't Babylon, right? That was another movie that kind of just went nowhere. She's got a lot of wacky films in her history.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe that's worth respecting, that she'll take risks on things that aren't quite as steady. I thought Wuthering Heights was fucking terrible, but it's made money. So like, you know,
I think it has.
Yeah.
Probably not a
Well, like
huge amount, but I don't think it bombed. I'm sure
No,
Barbie 2 is in like early development though, so she's going to be fine. I think once you've got a success like that, which she not only starred in but produced, and I think was involved in pitching as well.
Yeah.
Like, your stock in the industry, for as long as you can maintain the look required to play that part, probably going to be high. I wouldn't even be surprised if that was kind of an impact on the timing of her step back, as I've just had this huge, massive success. I now have as much credit in the industry as I'm ever likely to get, so I can probably afford to take a couple of years out while they pitch the next movie, because I don't need to do anything massive after that. That was so hugely profitable.
I think
mean,
she's
she's
been on
kind
the
of,
Ozempic pretty hard in recent years, like, because I saw recent pictures of her and she looked
it's
ghastly.
going around. Yeah, it's going around.
I mean, that's kind of like it's not just her, it's obviously an industry-wide thing, but it's like, I don't know, is the corpse look in right now? I guess. I don't know what they're achieving with it, but
I just picture this some fucking Disney level gremlin witch going around to each of these actresses being like, please take this injection. It'll make you beautiful forever.
I think there's probably an ugly person somewhere in Hollywood who's just like, who wants to make everyone else like them. It's like all these beautiful actresses and stuff. It's like, well, you know, you look okay at the moment, but if you look like a concentration camp victim, I think that would really put you over the top. And like that's what they're doing.
It's Ariana
Getting all the
Grande is
fat
just a
sucked out of their
really
faces and stuff.
extraordinary example of that. Just looks so unwell and unhealthy. But you probably there'll be a brief reversion to the mean at some point because everyone will do it and everyone will look weird in exactly the same way, and everyone will start to then stop doing it in order to stand out a bit, and then all of a sudden you'll get a move back to slightly less emaciated actors, maybe. But it might take a year or two for that to happen.
Oh, it's what a horrible place Hollywood is.
I know.
Just like more and more, like the more I see of it, and the more I see of these like ridiculous trends that sweep across the place, it's like, man, it's like a bunch of cattle being like herded towards the edge of a cliff, and they're like too dumb to like see what's being done to them, but they just go with it anyway.
It's difficult. I think it must be really difficult for women, particularly, especially like women like Margot Robbie, who are known for their youth and their beauty. It's like men can age out more easily in Hollywood. It's always been, and visual entertainment more broadly. Like the BBC got sued a few years ago because though male newsreaders are allowed just to carry on going until they're 80, women tend to get sacked when they hit 40. And it's like, that seems to be a little bit unfair, which it is, because, you know, how you look probably shouldn't impact how good you are at reading the news. And they had to change after that lawsuit. But it's more so in Hollywood than anything else, is the women who are known for their looks and their beauty, and that's what gets them their jobs. When they start to lose them with age, there's so much pressure that you have to do anything you possibly can to defeat the vile aging process. And you're quite lucky if you manage to sort of, it's only probably the exceptions, right? Judi Dench and Maggie Smith and people like that who tend to be more thespianly inclined anyway, but those who can carry on with the same or even greater level of success, having lost the thing that got you in the industry in the first place. Maybe more women would be more successful if they stopped trying to cling on to their looks and actually did try to age gracefully out of it. But I don't know that studios make that calculation.
It's what the casting directors and the writers are going to like write in terms of parts for them and like opportunities that they want to give them. I totally get what you're saying. Like it's probably an unfair double standard where it's like, as a guy, like you can still be doing, say, leading man action roles or whatever you want to do well into your 40s or 50s, but as an actress, yeah, like by the time you hit that big 4-0, like you either have to have transitioned into that A-list godhood sort of status, like the Meryl Streep sort of role where you can essentially just keep playing whatever you want to do forever, or you basically stop getting calls from your agent and those roles dry up, and then you just get shuffled off into the wilderness, and that's an unfortunate thing, but like that's the kind of parts that writers are creating for actresses. Not many opportunities for like middle-aged actresses.
Yeah, it's definitely isn't fair, but it's also just kind of the way things are. And like you can, I guess, if you wanted to, then you could deliberately try to break that. But then what you end up doing as a writer or a filmmaker or whatever is creating a movie that less people want to see. Like if you're writing a movie that you want to make, I don't know, $500 million and it's original idea, you could absolutely cast, I don't know, The Rock, like whoever, someone who's Hugh Jackman would be a good example. Like he still has like the sex appeal going, and how old is he now? He's nearly 60, right?
Mid 50s at least, yeah.
Yeah, whereas like name one woman that would possibly apply to, because like you say, once they go past, actually, yeah, there we go. Mila Jovovich is a maybe. I haven't seen anything from her recently, but she's a good shout.
Yeah, she is still making them, but they're not like top level movies that are getting a lot of attention. They're not as January releases.
They're not as culturally like earthquaking as the Resident Evil films, of course.
Demi Moore might be the only exception if we're looking at women, because she's been consistently on top no matter how old she is.
Haley Atwell, isn't she in her 40s as well?
No, she's in her 50s, almost 60s.
No, Haley Atwell.
Wait, sorry, who are we talking about? Sorry.
Haley Atwell.
Oh, yeah, no, she's in her 40s, yeah. But she doesn't, she's not
like,
in anything anymore, really.
Oh,
well, she was in the Mission Impossible movies.
She's gonna be in the Doomsday. She's gonna be in Doomsday. It's gonna be great.
Captain Carter.
She is frustrating as fuck, right? Because she obviously like got her break in Captain America. That was like what, 2012, 2013,
2010.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really long time ago. But yeah, like had this sort of almost like the sort of 1950s Hollywood starlet look about her, like very voluptuous, very beautiful and stuff. And I feel like in a different era, she would have immediately rose to stardom and been
Yes.
an A-lister, but like never quite found that role that was right for her. And you know, she's not old now, but like, you know, at 41, 42 or whatever, she's maybe getting towards the end of that period where she can exploit those looks for roles. Like I've often said, like she would have made a good Lara Croft 10
would
years
have.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that now she's a bit too old for it. And like, hey, we've got Sophie Turner who's going to do it. Yay. And yeah, like sometimes actors and actresses, like they just come along at the wrong time. You know, arguably Henry Cavill suffered from the same problem from a man's perspective.
Yep.
He had the opportunity to audition for Bond back in the mid 2000s for Casino Royale. He was too young, too inexperienced at the time. Now, arguably, he's slightly too old for it. And so, like, he just missed that boat. Again, annoying, but like it happens all the time, sadly.
Yeah.
As someone pointed out here, Liz Hurley still looks good at almost 60. Yeah, she just kind of stopped aging about 30 years ago. It's weird, but she was lucky, I guess.
The surgeon is very well paid. They,
yeah.
no luck about it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's the thing, is that there just is a silly amount of pressure. I mean, this is true of like women in general, but like particularly in Hollywood, there is like immense pressure to retain your youth, because that is largely why you end up getting cast in movies. Like, yes, it helps if you can act, but as you know, Gal Gadot would be the example there, right? She's got to be one of the highest paid actresses on the planet, and she can't fucking act. Whereas, you know, if you go to like men, a lot of them are going to have work done or whatever, but like they can sort of embrace the fact that they look a little bit older. I'm thinking like a George Clooney, like maybe 20 years ago, George Clooney, something like that. And yeah, it's definitely not fair, but it's also, you give the market what it wants and then it's going to either accept it or not. And that's just the way the market is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think fair.
Damn markets, they ruined women.
Stupid markets. Let me see if we can answer some super chats here. Brodo Swaggins says, "Hail to the drinker, MauLer, and the rest of the panel. Are there any movies that are considered to be classics that you find overrated?" Ooh, this could get us into trouble.
I think I said this the first time I was on your stream, but Star Wars. I think the original Star Wars movies are all super overrated.
Yeah, but that's because you're wrong.
Yeah, you are.
That's fine. That's fine.
Because you're a woman and you don't understand things.
That's fine too.
No, that's fair, because like this isn't coming down to like our being able to objectively prove it. It's just what we perceive.
Yeah,
you know?
it's completely subjective. There's a lot of merit to those original 3 films. I won't deny that, but I just find them to be grossly overrated.
No, I think that's fair. Like rest of panel, what do you guys think? Any movies that you've just never really like latched onto?
I'm gonna go with The Exorcist.
Ooh, interesting.
I don't hate it, and I have only seen it once, but it's kind of, you know, when you look at like a list of like the greatest horror movies ever made, it's The Exorcist and then Alien. And I just don't understand that. Like for me, Alien is goddamn, Alien is one of the best things. It's not even one of the best horror movies or one of the best movies. It's one of the best things. The Exorcist is fine, but it's nowhere near as good as Alien.
I know which movie I'd rather watch, for sure.
I'll add a potentially additional controversial take in conjunction with Random. Same reasoning he just gave, but for Halloween.
I agree with that one. Yeah.
I watched Halloween after knowing all of its hype, and I was like, oh.
I hate to agree on this one, but yeah, Halloween in terms of like its filmmaking ability and like performances, cinematography, it's not amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
I think part of the thing with Halloween, though, is that it has been copied like to death, probably more than even things like Alien or The Exorcist. So yeah,
but as you're almost alluding there, no matter how many times people copy Alien is still like unbeatable.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I didn't get that from Halloween. I didn't watch Halloween and go, wow, this is the absolute godfather of the slashes or anything.
And this is the thing, like, this is coming from, like, certainly from you and I, MauLer. We're genuinely pretty big John Carpenter fans.
Huge. The Thing is one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean we have to love every movie that he made, and we can recognize some of them were early efforts that maybe like had a bigger cultural impact than perhaps they deserved. That's okay. I think it's fine.
Who's left? Is any more? Are we got any more controversial?
I
takes?
haven't gone, but nothing's coming. I know there must be some, but nothing is coming to mind at the moment.
Go on, say Blade Runner. Go on, Platoon.
No, Blade Runner's
No, don't say that. I like you, Platoon. Don't do this to me.
Not a huge fan of the one where he narrates. Don't like that cut as much. But
yeah. There's like 10 different cuts you can choose from with that movie, so it's okay. There's one to suit every taste.
You'd have thought they'd make a sequel for it, but they never did.
They never did.
It's lucky that. It's lucky.
Yeah.
Hey now, 2049 is great. I'll die on that hill.
Jesus.
Are you serious?
You died on that hill. You're a corpse.
Yeah.
Rip. You bleached bones, buddy.
Like, Drinker, just watched your 2019 Resident Evil movies review, and God, your voice is so different. Was your mic different or audio filter? Or had you just not drunk enough then that your voice had to settle? Yeah, well, it's probably a combination of all of those things. Yes, my microphone setup was probably different, and it probably sounded cheap and awful because it was a cheap and awful microphone I was using. This was before I even took off in YouTube. And yeah, I think I was not drunk as I am these days. So yeah, my voice
didn't
probably
used to have
sound...
as much pain to nullify, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I was very polite, and like that. I think that was back in the days when I was still saying, "Well, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and please consider liking and subscribing." And now I'm just like, "Oh, fuck off! Leave me alone." But you know what? Like that was the early days, and I still stand by my Resident Evil games retrospective series. I enjoyed making that. That was what got me started on YouTube, basically. Jordan Pendragon says, "Happy 86th birthday to Chuck Norris. He doesn't blow out the birthday candles on his cake. The flames surrender." Damn fucking right.
Like who can say he doesn't blow the candles? They blow him.
I was waiting for it too.
I think my favorite Chuck Norris fact is like he once visited the Virgin Islands. Now they're just called the Islands. Marksman says, "Hail Mary reminds me of Adam Sandler's Spaceman." Is better than that. Mr. Taco Booty says, "Book my tickets for Project Hail Mary in Lord and Miller. I trust." You should in this case because they did a good job with that movie. I very much enjoyed it. Excuse me.
I'm seeing it Sunday.
Yeah. See it in IMAX because it's worth it. It looks good.
Maybe I will.
But not because you told me to, Drinker.
Yeah.
Lagana says, "Even Christian couldn't bail out of The Bride." Ooh, I see what you did there. That was good. Elsie Le Pen, One Piece Season 2 has premiered. Looking forward to what the members of the bar who watch it will think and if it survived the Netflix second season curse. Well, that is the question. We're going to try and find the answer to that as soon as we can. Aaronak says, "I recall comedian Patrice O'Neill, R.I.P., saying that Maggie Gyllenhaal in Dark Knight should have been switched with Megan Fox from Transformers. He thought that both movies would be way more believable that way." Actually, that kind of makes sense when you think about it. Maggie Gyllenhaal getting with fucking...
What? Putting her in Transformers? I guess.
I mean, well, when you think about how he looks in that movie... he's not pulling Megan Fox, is he? Come on.
Damn, Shia. I hope he doesn't watch this show. I'm pretty sure he does, dude.
Oh, I'm sure he does, yeah. He's going to be butthurt as fuck watching this.
Did you guys see The Tax Collector? I just have to throw this in here. It's a Shia LaBeouf movie. It's a Shia LaBeouf movie where he plays like a guy who like collects debts for a gang or something. And he went method on it. He got a full-on back tattoo because his character has a back tattoo. And I was like, okay, well, that's a bit strange, but then this is Shia LaBeouf. And then I watched the movie, and the funniest part of it is that he never takes his shirt off. So
I was sure you were going to talk about him becoming a tax collector for.
Oh no.
He actually joins like the inland revenue.
Like there's a very brief scene where he's being like beaten up, but because of the way that it's filmed, you can't tell that it's a real or a fake tattoo on his back. But yeah, he actually did that.
Wow.
I think my favorite like era of his was when he just went through his like tortured artist phase. And there was a point where you could walk into an art gallery and it would just be him sat in a blank white room with a paper bag over his head crying.
I remember that. Yeah.
That would just, I wanted to go in there and just be in the room with him while he does that. Good God.
Just do it though is genuinely like inspirational. If
do it, do it. Yeah,
Don't let
he tried so. I've never seen a guy try so hard to portray himself as this like genius artist and just have it fall so flat. But everything he did became this glorious meme. So he gave something back to the world, I guess.
He sure did.
Yeah, this one here, $50. Is that Australian dollars? I don't know. Are they real? Is that real money? I don't know. It's probably stolen. It says Popeye should have been in heavyweight. Watch A Hull of a Mess, and you will see what base Popeye without spinach can do. Right? Okay. Also, what season or episode of Rick and Morty did fall off for everyone, and why?
Last good episode for when me and Free were watching it, like we were keeping up with it somewhat, was the decoys episode. It felt like the last time where they tried to write intelligently. But it's like Simpsons. It's just way faster in terms of it peters out. You start getting a lower hit rate, if you know what I mean. But that's where I stopped watching it outright. So
I think the point where I started to fall off with it was the Heistatron episode. I think after that I was.
Isn't that the one though that says "Your booze mean nothing"? I've seen what makes you cheer. I can't remember.
Yeah, that is the one.
Yeah,
that one.
That quote is fantastic.
Well, yeah, that's my point. Is like that was the last good one for me, where I was like, "Oh, this is some good shit right here." And then after that, kind of lost it.
I've seen seasons 1, 2, 3 a lot, and I think season 4, I generally start. I think like the general decline starts with Justin Roiland is very much checked out by that point. And even there's bits of season 3 as well where you can sort of see the germs of some of the problems that come later. Season 4 is just very, very hit and miss. And I don't remember anything after season 4. So I would say season 4 is where it stops.
You either die a smiling friends or live long enough to become a Rick and Morty. So.
Yeah. Captain Bucky O'Hare says, "Hey, remember when Lord and Miller were doing a Star Wars movie and Kathleen Kennedy fired them for making it too funny and pushing the actors to be too creative? Oh, well. Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy made a lot of choices. That's all I'm going to say there." The snazzy comment says, "One Piece Season 2 was epic. Shame it's not the thumbnail for the bar. Hope you all enjoyed. Man, that was incredible." Well, I mean, wait until the next time we do open bar and we can talk about it. Hambry Jeremiah says, "Have you watched season 2 of the live action One Piece in full, and what are your thoughts if you have?" Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. It's just come out. John Gets Gaming says, "I can't get on board with this live action One Piece. The acting from so many of the main cast is so horrible, and the effects are outright laughable in many scenes. If Oda approved, he should have stuck to manga." Well, I mean, as far as I know, he did approve it.
That was one of the appeals, wasn't it, of season 1, is how intimately involved he was. And I think the
Yes.
showrunner left at some point between season 1 and 2, which is never a very good sign. But I mean, I remember expecting to be put off season 1 from that entire concept. I mean, I assumed it was going to be over the top, wacky, kind of very cheesy camp and not in an enjoyable way. I actually found that like some of the overacting and some of the cheap or slightly more zany effects really added to the charm of season 1. But I'm interested now to see whether or not that is the problem with season 2 or whether that has got worse.
I can tell you guys, I have been talking to someone who at least claim to have worked on seasons 1, 2, and 3. And they did say like they've seen the scripts like for season 3 because they're obviously working on the story for that already. They said that Netflix were pushing quite hard to get the message into season 2, and they were largely able to push that back, but they have gone pretty hard with it in season 3. Make of that what you will. Whether that's how it ends up, I don't know. But like they did say, like they got increasingly disillusioned with it as they went on. So hopefully it doesn't happen, but we'll see. Yeah. For those that don't know, Nami is a completely different character in the manga/anime. They made her generic and stoic and sucked the personality away. Just one example of the bastardization this is. I mean, I can guess if it's like anime, like she would be like super expressive and like emotive and stuff. They did make her a bit more stoic in the live action, but I didn't dislike her. I thought they did an okay job with the character. I thought the actress was good. I didn't have an issue with Nami necessarily.
No, not in season 1, unless they've changed it since then. I thought like it was kind of a clever decision because Luffy is such an outsized personality to have someone who is a foil to his kind of very exuberant self. I thought that worked in season 1, but again, there's maybe a comment on season 2 doing it wrong.
That's what I think I liked about season 1 was his unbridled enthusiasm and sincerity. It was kind of fun. I don't know if that'll be something that can be maintained in season 2, I guess.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
Yeah, hello panel. Tomorrow will be 7 years since I lost my fiance to cancer. Thanks for your humor to get me through the anniversary tonight.
Oh,
I'm sorry, man.
Sorry
Cancer fucking sucks. I'm sorry, buddy. Maggie Gyllenhaal has a fuck.
Follow up.
Wow, we've seen the duality of man right here. Maggie Gyllenhaal has a soggy burger face. I mean, I will say, right, she's 47 as far as I understand. That is not that old, but she looks about 60.
Yeah, it's a rough 47.
I don't know what's happened.
He's
but
had the jowls for a while.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I guess your facial structure like kind of determines how you're going to age to a degree. I kind of feel like if you've got like a wider face, like maybe it's the wrinkles and stuff don't show up as much, but they have with her pretty bad. Oh well. That's why she's a director now, not an actress. Yeah, and to think all of this happened during National Women's Month and the week of National Women's Day. Truly, God has a sense of humor. Oh, yeah. I think the one that made me laugh was like when I think it was Westerosi posted it on Twitter where it was like Khaleesi and My Sunday when they were talking about all men must die, and it's like, but we are not men. And I couldn't help but point out, well, yeah, both of them did actually end up dying in the show, so not a great one.
Yep.
Yeah, one critical drinker membership, thank you, sir. And shout out to West Texas. Steve DeLeon rules beardo fat. Well, there you go. Definitive. Reno the Turk. When Gary said the bride is like Joker 2 jokier, I pictured Brendan Gleeson rising from a pool of feces and piss like the Undertaker. I mean, that's probably doing a disservice to Joker 2 and praising this movie too much, I think.
Sorry, does that happen in Joker 2?
There's a whole bathroom grape scene featuring Brendan Gleeson.
He does get Brendan. Yeah, he does get Brendan Gleeson pretty hard in that movie.
Oh no,
he doesn't rise up from a pool of feces though.
Toilets there, so there could be.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks for not spoiling Project Hail Mary. Well, I mean, I do my best. I wanted to give some kind of like description of the plot. Drinker MauLer, listen, everything was plotted from the start by Umbrella. No, fucking Umbrella. Yeah, it's spelled Amour, Yankee boys. What is that? Amour.
So did they mean to say armor? But with
I think it means armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ironic.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Well, you showed us. I don't know if it's said here, but I recommend Epic, the Elvis Presley in Concert. It's a documentary concert film about Elvis's return to the stage after acting. He's the main narrator. It makes you an Elvis Presley fan. Hey, you don't have to make me an Elvis Presley fan. I already am.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know. That comeback show was like a massive deal, and no one thought he was going to be able to pull it off. So kind of cool that it happened. Have you guys watched season 2 of Netflix's One Piece yet? As a fan of the anime, it's not perfect, but I thought they did a great job again with this season. See our previous comments, sadly. Oh, no.
I think you need to watch this show, Drinker.
Indeed. Did you meet Ryan Gosling? So I wasn't able to say this before, but yes, I did meet him. I went down to Pinewood Studios when they were filming Project Hail Mary 2 years ago during the summer.
Oh, wow.
And I got to hang out with him for, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes or so while they were between sets. So I got to chat with him, which was kind of cool. He was a nice guy. I liked talking to him. He's Canadian, so he's very polite and nice. So that was neat, but I didn't get to see him at the premiere because he was too busy doing other stuff. But I did see him from a distance, but that was about it. Hey, Drinker, have you seen Epic Elvis Presley in concert yet? What the fuck? Are we just recycling the same things over and over again? Are we stuck in purgatory here? No, haven't seen it yet. What are the chances we get Rise and Shine, the antithesis to Crash and Burn, all about career revivals? That's not a bad idea, actually.
Start with RDJ.
Yeah, that's not a bad one, actually. Yeah, it'd be nice to do a positive spin on that sort of thing. So yeah, maybe I will. Bridge Too Far, released in 1977. It did indeed. I put it on my list. Very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Drinker, can't wait to see you at Orlando MegaCon meetup. Be ready for some whiskey and cigars on me, brother. Ryan already says he's in. MauLer, are you coming?
Someday.
No, he just says, are you coming right now? So,
of course, all the time. It's open bar, buddy.
That's why you keep going on mute. It's like, okay, I get it. Young Sherlock, it sucks apparently. Lame quips non-stop. Big Bang Theory energy, sad. Shout out to Joey Dustpan and Perchcock Avenue podcast crew. Any questions? No?
I didn't even know there was a young Sherlock. Is that new?
Yeah, it just came out last week, I think.
It's
Oh.
Guy Ritchie who did it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I don't think it's getting a great write-up from what I know.
I haven't heard any good things about it from the 2 people I know that are watching it. So.
Shame, because he seemed to be on fire after The Gentleman, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess not everything's going to be a winner. I would like to add a 1977 trivia fact. Kiss released their 6th studio album, Love Gun. It was the first album to have Ace Frehley's singing voice on it, making all 4 members have a singing credit. It is certified platinum. That's a pretty good fact, actually. I like that one. Thank you. If you could personally write and direct a big budget film or TV of any video game, which game would you pick and why? Choose.
I have an answer for this. I've had an answer for this for a while. Red Dead Redemption.
Ooh, good answer. I'm surprised that's not in the works already, actually.
No, don't will it. Don't will it into existence. Let's glad that it's not in
Don't give it power.
Right.
MauLer, yours is going to be BioShock, obviously.
My backup is Dead Space. And then maybe the backup to that would be Soma, but only if I get to write and direct with $1 billion.
Mine would be Resident Evil, because can you believe it's been 30 years since the first game came out and they've never adapted it to the big screen? Wild, man. I think it's about time I did it. Platoon, what was yours?
I think I've been on this show and this question came up before, and so I remembered most of the answers. And I think I had the cheat answer, which is that I'll just do Judas because I can go from the writing room into the writing room, and it'll be no change for me whatsoever. And as a backup, I don't know, Metal Gear Solid will be fun.
Yeah, I would be.
Damn cheater.
Would you all rather Superman and Batman with Cavill and Affleck, but better, or would you prefer any older Superman and Batman together? If so, what ones? So if you could mix and match your different Superman and Batman actors from different decades and put them together in a movie in their prime, who would it be? I guess that's the question they're asking here.
See, I've said before that Ben Affleck as Batman, I don't think is a fundamentally bad idea. Ben Affleck in the right movie is really, really good, and I could see him potentially playing Batman. So putting him with a Superman, though, because the thing is, with him and Christopher Reeve, I feel like that doesn't really work because obviously there's a massive age gap there. So I'd go with Affleck
well,
and
I mean,
Cavill,
we're talking about
assuming that it's
people in
going to
their
be good.
say you're talking about them in their prime as well. So say you have Christopher Reeve, who, I don't know, mid-30s, say, Superman, and Affleck, who would have been, I don't know, mid to late 40s when he did BVS. Could you make them work together, or is there too much of a gap?
I have a hard time conceptualizing that because they're from completely different eras, but I see what you mean. I feel like
because
Cavill
the
and
question
Affleck
is
could
like,
have been good, though.
Yeah, because the question is like, if you could just take them from different eras and sort of put them in a time machine or whatever to like mash them together if you wanted to in one movie, what would you do?
Well, potentially I'd go with that. If I was going to go with that, then I'd probably say Christian Bale and Christopher Reeve. I feel like for some reason in my head, I could imagine that working better than Affleck.
That's interesting, actually.
I would take Keaton over both of them for Reeve. But I mean, if we're getting really into the wish fulfillment shit, maybe like the best realized Kevin Conroy with Reeve would have been really fucking cool.
I want to see the unmade Nicolas Cage Superman going up against Christian Bale's Batman, just for the absolute tonal insanity that would be.
I'd see George Clooney and Cage together. Hot take, I like George Clooney's Batman movie just because it's so campy and so dumb. You have so much fun watching it. So I think there's gold to be had there.
There was a plan to do that at one point.
I know.
They wanted to merge them together. Like if that Nick Cage Superman movie had taken off, they were going to merge them with Superman and do like a Justice League movie. Oh God,
I'm for it.
The things we could have had.
Right.
All directed by Joel Schumacher. I would have loved it.
I don't know how it took me this long to realize that you could absolutely have Adam West with Henry Cavill, and that would be comedy gold.
Drinker and MauLer, you should both play Shadows of the Damned and The Sinking City. The first is Resident Evil 4 with a Mexican Leon by Suda55, and the other is a third-person detective game with Lovecraftian lore. Ooh.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
You've got MauLer with Lovecraft right there. Hail the Fellowship. I'm doing my best to be a good YouTuber, and the Drinker and you and MauLer are gems. Thanks for the content. Well, we do our best. Also, the last state execution by guillotine happened in France in 1977. On that note, the bride be heading for a flop. It do be. Wasn't Christopher Lee present at that execution by guillotine?
I think he
in France?
traveled to France specifically to see it. Yeah.
I mean, it would
He's
be
a
quite
wacky
cool.
guy.
He is. MauLer, I hope we don't get locked out of the stream like the real BBC. Side note, I've been rewatching Stargate. I miss shows like that. So much better than today's shit.
So on real BBC, right, Az ate some bad fish before he came on and was vomiting like crazy. So at like half an hour in or whatever, he says, you know, he's like struggling, and Gary and me are both like, dude, just take whatever time you need. We shouldn't even have done the stream. We were saying we would have just done it. But like, you go have a moment. And like, I'm not even kidding. 10 minutes after he leaves, my computer just happens to blue screen out of nowhere. And then I come back online, but Gary can't put me back in the call because and Az is gone. So it's just Gary sitting alone, being like, "Hello, everyone." I shit you not, Gary. After I think like 50 minutes of trying to just wait for everything to work out, was like, "Okay, fine. I'll leave. I'll make my own stream so that we can finish out there." And 5 minutes after he leaves, Az turns back up alone, like, "Where is everybody?"
I did see a real BBC like video that you guys re-uploaded saying, "What the hell happened yesterday?"
Yeah, just a calamity. But hey, we're all alive and well, so it's all good.
You have streams like that sometimes. I mean, everything goes wrong, and it's just sometimes it makes for the best content.
Yeah.
Random. To this day, one of my favorite insults has to be from The Emperor's New Groove when Kuzkos says to someone, "Well, that makes you ugly and stupid." Devastating. Favorite insults from media.
I mean, another great one from The Emperor's New Groove is, "Let me guess, you have a great personality." There's one that I remember seeing on like one of those YouTube compilation videos, but I still don't know what film it's from. I don't know if you guys could tell me. So someone says, if you looked up the word idiot in the dictionary, you know what you'd see? And he says, a picture of me, and he says, no, the definition of the word idiot, which is what you fucking are.
Oh, it sounds like a Guy Ritchie movie.
I
I know that. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From? My brain.
That sounds familiar.
I know that. What's it from? Oh, it's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Okay.
Val Kilmer says it. Yeah. There's loads of
Um,
good insults in that movie.
There's superb insults in Whiplash.
Oh
from,
God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's when he's in the middle of a rant and like someone's trying to get his attention and he just goes like, "Get the fuck out of my face before I fucking destroy you."
Destroy you. Yeah. Consider this a hyper recommendation for In Bruges, but one of my favorite bits in that film, there's so much good dialogue, is when Brendan Gleeson, not raping anybody by the way in the sequence, he's just being himself.
Not going full Brendan Gleeson.
He says, he's talking to Ray Fiennes and he says, "Harry, let's face it, I'm not being funny. I mean no disrespect, but you're a cunt. You're a cunt now, and you've always been a cunt. The only thing that's going to change is you're going to be a bigger cunt. Maybe have some more cunt kids." And he's like, "Leave my kids fucking out of it. What have they done? You fucking retract that bit about my cunt fucking kids." And he just cuts back and he's like, "I retract that bit about your cunt fucking kids."
Yeah, I walked into The Bride not knowing anything about it. Oh yeah, I've did this one already. Sorry. Yeah, we're lucky to live in a time when Mary Shelley's authentic voice finally gets heard. Pinch me. I know. That's the gift of modern media. It just keeps giving. Do you think that would make a good? Do you think that would make a good Resident Evil character, an undead bioweapon a la Frankenstein, who's not a mindless monster and wants to help destroy others of its kind? So almost like a friendly tyrant. I mean, I guess maybe we've had characters like that before. I think in Resident Evil, like Piers from Resident Evil 6 did that. He injected himself with a T-virus and became like a super powerful monster thing, but he was a good monster. He fought off the other monsters.
Oh wait, Piers Morgan was in Resident Evil 6?
Yeah, he was, yeah. Can you believe it?
Wait, I need to play this game now.
What the fuck was his surname? Was it Nevens or something? Piers Nevens. He was like Chrissy's buddy throughout the Resident Evil 6 campaign.
Don't know.
Have you not played it, MauLer?
Resident Evil 6, I played it on release for about an hour and a half, and then I stopped.
You fucking tourist. I'm sick of you. Jesus. That's it.
We'll play it someday, buddy. It's going to happen.
A more Resident Evil-y person to be my co-host.
No.
Hail Drinker panel and Vexy Lady among them. Just saw The Bride. What the fuck did I watch? Just stick to OG Bride of Frankenstein. Well, that's very triggering for Maggie Gyllenhaal, because she watched the original Bride of Frankenstein, like the 1937 movie, and was appalled by it because the bride only gets like 2 minutes of screen time. And that's not good enough, damn it. So, funnily enough, like that movie was indirectly responsible for this almost 100 years later, wasting $100 million. Little could they have known what they were creating back then. Yeah, I like when Maggie says it starts to get dangerous when women get a lot of money and you hear a little, "Oh my God," from MauLer before he yells, "It sure does." Did we do this one already? I think we did. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Ruined it all. Yeah. Hail Bar. I recently watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit. For the first time since childhood, it was not made for modern resolutions. I think you mean audiences or sensibilities. The movie held up really well, had a very Chinatown feeling to it. Has Platoon seen it?
No, I have seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, actually. What?
I just like throwing a monkey wrench in sometimes.
I haven't seen it
Agent
since
of
I
Chaos.
was a kid, though, so it is it's almost a no, but I do remember liking it, and I know it's one I need to rewatch.
Isn't there an infamous scene where like Christopher Lloyd's character like murders a toon?
Yeah, it's a shoe. He
Yeah, it's
dunks
a
him in
shoe,
the
yeah.
blue. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, like I'm pretty sure I watched that when I was like 5 years old, and I was in tears watching it because it's like, why is he killing it? It's fucking traumatizing.
He deserves
man.
it, boy.
Yeah, drinking. Oh, we did that one already. Yeah, this is how remote from reality these actors are. They all thought that this was a good idea. I think Christian Bale secretly knew this was a terrible idea when he brought that forward in his performance. Yeah. You boys and Vex, I guess, seen War Machine. It's Predator meets Metal Gear Solid meets PTSD maxing. Alan Ritchson stars and does his own stunts. Yeah, I've seen it. It's no Predator.
I see.
So you don't recommend the rest of us watch it then?
It's a platoon of Alan Ritchson and a bunch of really fucking wimpy looking, supposedly army rangers that have to fight a giant mech that just crash lands on Earth, but they don't have any guns or anything because they're on a training exercise and they only have blank firers. So they basically spend the next like 90 minutes running away from it.
So this is Predator Badlands, not Predator, is what this chat should have said.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Alan Ritchson is weirdly like flat and uninteresting in it. I don't know, man. Like maybe he was having an off day or something, but this is not going to set anyone's world on fire. Yeah, made you look. No, great. Now I'm hungry. I just saw Vexy's roast beef sandwich.
You're welcome.
If that makes you hungry, you got something wrong, man. You got issues. Hey, MauLer, what was the title of the short film based off your writing, and where can I watch it? We'd love to see some of your work, man. Man.
Well, that's all right. They're allowed to say that in this day and age. All in Good Time is what it's called, and it's available, I presume, still for the backers, but it's currently, we're sorting out when we can release it on YouTube. Basically, it's undefined as it stands right now.
Yes, we want to get it out as soon as we can. So
yeah,
like I said to MauLer, like regardless of what things it's been put forward for, I want it to go out in the next month or so, no matter what. So
as soon as we lock in a date, I'll start talking about it like every stream. Don't you worry, folks. I'll let you know.
Yeah. But the premiere that we did down in London was a whole lot of fun. So there is that. We got a select audience of people who were able to watch it, and they enjoyed it. So memorable 2006 or top 3 2006 films or games. Fuck. Ugh. Why 2006 of all things? You just want to go back 20 years.
What came out in 2006?
I'm gonna have to look this up.
The Prestige, right? The Prestige was 06.
Oh man, I think
that was 05 actually.
2007. I thought it was 2005.
So we got The Good Shepherd, Apocalypto.
Oh no, it is 2006. That's hilarious. It's my favorite movie of all time. So yeah, I like that.
Superman Returns.
Well, it's probably nobody's favorite movie.
Children of Men. That was right.
Children of Men's good, yeah.
Yeah,
For games, I'll put out Gears of War and Oblivion.
Ooh, Pan's Labyrinth. That shit's good. I like Little Miss Sunshine as well. Oh, and Casino Royale.
Oh yeah,
that was 2005, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe I'm off a bit by that.
X-Men: The Last Stand. Nope.
Tenacious D, Pick of Destiny.
Hey.
Oh, The Fountain came out that year. I quite like that movie.
Was Tucker Dale versus Evil this year? Or was
that was good.
I don't think it was.
I feel like that was more modern. Yeah, that's 2010.
Children of Men, that was a pretty good one. Pursuit of Happiness, I did quite like that.
Underworld Evolution.
All-time classic. I'm not getting the impression that 2006 was exactly a bumper year for movies.
I mean, I don't know, dude. You like compared with like this year and last year and the year before, like
Prestige
2006 was a banger.
They couldn't allow too many good things to come out when Prestige came out. They were like, okay, we got to make room.
I almost feel like it's unfair to compare any previous years to like current era, like because they're always going to come out on top.
The Wicker Man was 2006.
Oh, the Nick Cage one.
Nick Cage one.
Not the bees. I still want to know how it got burned. That little doll.
Killing me won't bring back your goddamn honey.
Yeah, my favorite Frankenstein's monster is Rory Kinnear in Penny Dreadful. I wish I watched Penny Dreadful. I never really did. And yeah, I'll finish up with this one. Drinker, what's your favorite Resident Evil level? The Spencer Mansion is iconic, but I think the RPD is my favorite. The castle in Resident Evil 4 is great too. Oh, I think I'm going to have to go for the Spencer Mansion, you know. I do love the RPD as well, but like the Spencer Mansion's got like a bit more complexity to it. RPD is like fairly linear in terms of how you explore it, especially once you start getting the keys. Like there's really like one area that unlocks that then gets you into the next area. Was with the Spencer Mansion, when you get the armor key, that opens up something like 7 or 8 different rooms that you can explore at your leisure. So you got loads of options for progression. So it's much more expansive, I think, in terms of what you can do. So Spencer Mansion probably for me.
I just love the village, man. That whole sequence in Resident Evil 4. I just love killing Spaniards. I don't know. You just mowing them down.
MauLer confirmed racist right here. You heard it first.
That's not racist because they're white.
Well, my favorite game is Resident Evil 5, MauLer.
I knew it.
It's not really. But no, there is some classic all-time levels in Resident Evil. I'm looking forward, hopefully, to seeing you play a bit of like the older games, because you might be doing that.
Never gonna happen. Not in a million years, but also maybe.
Yeah. Same old story. But I'll probably finish up right there. I want to say, as always, thank you to my awesome panel of guests. You guys have been beautiful. I really do want a roast beef sandwich now, having like looked at your icon.
You're welcome.
I thank you everyone who's joined us for this one tonight. As always, the super chats that we weren't quite able to answer tonight, MauLer and I will do them on last orders. But for now, at least, that is all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.